Shirts and skins, let's holler, y'all, we're back again. Talking college ball, where we always win. Brandon, Mark, and Matt, riding tall in the saddle. Ain't no crew like us when we're heading to battle. Tell your folks, call your kin, we're spilling the beans. Just three old boys living country dreams. Hot takes and jokes, we're shooting straight. Boise State pride, we're setting y'all straight. So grab your boots and crank up the sound. We're about to lay it
So
down.
good. Still my favorite.
Me and Mark weren't ready for that.
Still my favorite.
Caught me off guard.
Still my favorite
But-
intro.
If you're out there, grab your boots.
Yeah.
Get ready.
That was AI generated.
Really?
All AI. Super catchy. So good.
Yeah.
Still my favorite intro.
Feel free to
not bad.
turn it down and us up at some point.
I can't even hear it. I couldn't even hear it. I could barely hear it.
Oh, you couldn't?
What?
Oh.
Can you hear in there? We didn't do a sound check. Is he?
We good?
Can you hear us?
Oh.
Can you hear us? Brandon, come on.
Now I can.
Okay,
I
that
just heard you from us talking.
Okay. All right. Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
That was the intro.
There we go.
Good.
That was the intro.
It's a hell of an intro. I can hear it like a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
There you go. We're not used to having 4 here.
Whoops.
Hey,
Should be good now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
we're good. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching, listening. This is the Shirts and Skins podcast. I'm Matt Lamb. I got Brandon Miner here. Mark Moss is here. We have a special guest.
Yes.
Brad Bedell is with us
Yeah,
today.
man. The great.
Yeah.
The
Great.
great. Exactly.
We've
Famous.
chatted. You don't know this, but your name has been on our list for
Yeah.
at least 6 months.
A while.
Probably
Yeah.
8 months. So we're
It's a big
excited to
deal.
have you.
Yeah. No,
We
I'm
are.
excited to be here, and
Yeah.
it's. I appreciate the invite,
Yeah.
and excited to get it going.
You haven't been thinking about us, but we've been thinking about you.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
That is.
If
that
that makes
is.
you feel better.
It absolutely does.
We've got
I'm just
a.
getting police on the line. Real
Yeah,
quick.
exactly. Hey, why don't we just grab his phone real quick?
Yeah.
He's going to be blinking into the camera.
Yeah.
Just trying to make it not weird.
Yeah.
Like
Anyway,
it's like the Metallica 1 video, and I'm going like.
we've got a football game to talk about.
Yeah.
We've got a basketball game that happened earlier today.
I was
to
there,
talk
baby.
about.
That was
Brandon
awesome.
was there. I watched from home with my family.
amazing.
Mark, you?
I caught the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look
Brad,
good?
Brad, you a basketball guy?
Yeah, I'll watch it, but no, I didn't
Not
watch this
today.
one.
Okay.
I'm a more of a tournament kind of guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He tunes in March.
You're a playoff, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
a few
I
more
like to go to
months.
the Boise State games. Like my son loves basketball.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the Boise State games and things like that. But
Yeah.
I have a tough time. It's not basketball season. It's football season.
it hasn't ended
And basketball's
yet.
kind of intruding in this time, and then let football end, and then now it's
They had a
basketball.
portion of the game, it was like 6 or 7 minutes left, and it was really tight. And they called like a little foul timeout type of thing, and they showed that Boise State
Wait,
football
what was
playing.
it? A foul or a timeout?
Or they were reviewing
okay.
a foul on
Gotcha.
Cardenas. Anyway, they put up a hey, BSU's playing, and everybody stood up and clapped. Like, the whole stadium in the basketball arena stood up and clapped for the football game being just
The replays?
advertised.
Oh.
No, just like, hey, come to the game after Thanksgiving.
Oh, funny.
And it was just
Or
anyway.
Yeah, it's still
I didn't
rules.
I didn't describe that very well.
That's okay.
Really.
I
Football
like Coach
season.
Rice though a lot, and I think he does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah, I mean, it really, if you
Wild.
think about just overall, look at where Boise State is athletically. Football is on the fast track. Basketball is doing well.
Amazing.
Softball is done very. That guy's done a hell of a job. And then
Soccer.
Women's
Look at what
soccer.
the women's soccer. He's been
Yeah.
here for how long?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it was 20-something years.
Is that what it is?
It's
That
a
guy?
long.
He's a young guy.
He looks that way.
He looks
I thought
young. He's in
been
shape.
Here, he's been here for a long time.
Really?
Real long.
Well, they lost in the Mountain West Championship game, I think.
They showed that.
2-1.
Did anyone else? Was anyone at the
Yeah.
football
We're at the
game?
They
game.
showed
Yeah.
the highlight.
No, they showed like
Well, it was an in-game.
a live in-look
Yeah.
game of the Mountain West Championship game at the last Boise State football game.
Yeah.
And they
It was
showed
1-1.
35 seconds. It's 1-1.
Yeah.
And Utah State scored the winner.
Yeah,
and they
and
shut it off real quick.
wah, wah, wah.
yeah. They got dang it.
Yeah. No,
Shut
but
it
to
off.
Brad's, I mean, we can talk about it, but to your point, I mean, it is all aces and sunshine right now for
very
BSU.
good.
we got sold
for-
out season tickets
Yeah.
for basketball.
Basketball as well.
When does that happen?
I don't know
That's
that
never
that's
happened. That's never happened.
Never happened, right?
No way.
That's
I doubt
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other thing, I mean, the basketball game's great. Beat
Yeah.
Clemson, it's a great win,
Right.
good resume win for the future. There's more people excited about the concert that's going to be announced on Tuesday and who's
Yeah,
going to
what
be.
was that? Yeah, we don't
Wait,
even know.
what?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They jumped in during the game
Yeah,
and
yeah.
said they're prepared to make the Albertson Stadium concert announcement.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out Tuesday. So Albertson Stadium's
for
going
like
to have a
this
summer,
Oh,
it's a summer
like the Garth
concert.
Brooks
Okay.
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
That's
what.
exciting.
So we were all confused because they said everybody. The game announcer said everybody, hold on, we have an announcement.
Right.
And they said this is a concert announcement, and then they showed the stadium.
Yep.
And then they just gave the date.
And then when is the date?
Well, I thought it was like a Tuesday coming up, and I was like, wow, that's a
Then
quick
I think it's
turnaround
the
for.
summer.
Is that what it is?
I'm almost possible.
Well, we were
Should
like,
be.
You can't play it now.
well,
So
we
they-
were like, what? Who's playing?
So they
Who
made
is
an
it?
announcement that they're going to make
Going
an
to
announcement.
announce.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so we were all like
Okay.
cheering.
Yeah.
And then
What are we cheering
and then
for?
they turned and then they started the game. We're like, wait, who is it?
I know
What's
something
going on?
was supposed to come over this past summer, but it fell through. And I'm wondering now if it's going to go through.
Do you know? Do you have
Morgan
inside
Wallen,
info?
man.
I do.
You
I
have
do, but
inside-
I can't say
Well,
it. Honestly, I can't.
But they've had
kids-
Morgan Wallen. Morgan
had-
Wallen. Dude, he would be huge.
He would be big.
Oh, I would
He would
love
be
that.
they've had Garth Brooks on the blue.
Yes.
Luke Combs, right? Wasn't
Dude,
he on the
Garth
blue?
Brooks
Yep.
was brutal because that was a hot summer day.
I was
like,
there.
Pass out.
That
I
was
went
an
back.
awesome
I went,
concert,
I went
though.
back to back.
Oh, you went to
Really?
both nights?
Both nights.
Dude, I'm a
So-
Garth
so
Brooks
you like,
fiend.
dude.
You like the intro
The
then.
intro. Did you hear it? You're good with that, dude. I'll send this to you.
I went back to back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. Well, I'm interested to see who they. It was an interesting way to put it out there.
That's funny.
Announce that we're going to announce something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's
pre-announcement.
the cliffhanger for the cliffhanger.
Yeah. You know.
Stay tuned.
I
So
guess.
back to the Boise State rocking and rolling right
Wait,
now.
we
right?
have a guest.
I
here.
know. I
Oh,
want.
okay.
I want to
Gotcha.
ask him.
Yeah.
I want to ask him. You were here. You were not here with Jeremiah Dickey, correct?
No,
On the staff.
no, no,
You
no.
left.
No, I
you
was
left with
with-
Harson.
Yeah.
And Apsey was okay. You do you know Jeremiah Dickey at all?
I met him when they on our way out of Baylor.
Yeah.
So he was like number 2 or
Oh,
3.
okay, right, at
when
Baylor.
he took over Baylor when they fired all of us.
Oh,
Right.
You did meet him in transition there.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had to sit down. I talked with him and the AD, Mr. Rhodes, Matt Rhodes,
Yeah.
because we all had to do exit interviews.
Wait, you
Well,
were at
Wait,
Baylor.
you were at Baylor?
yeah,
When were you
Yeah.
at Baylor?
Man, do your homework, guys.
Whoa,
I knew this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. When were you at Baylor?
I was at Baylor when Art Briles went down.
Oh, okay. That whole thing. Sam Ukuwachu.
So I was a part of Baylor, and we came into the Arizona Bowl and just
2016?
put a whooping on Boise State.
Oh, whooping. I remember that.
yeah,
That was bad.
I helped coach.
You're
Ty
part of that.
2016, right? Okay.
Wow.
That's freaking
okay.
wild, dude. I had
Yeah,
no idea.
I didn't either.
That's a big.
Sorry
that's
about
a
that.
big.
No,
no prep
could have
work
been
on-
16, 14, wasn't it? When was it? I don't know.
According to
16?
Wikipedia,
Oh,
it says
oh boy.
you're in Baylor 2000. Texas State
Yeah.
was 2014 to 15.
You're right.
Oh.
Then you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, because Dennis Franchione retired in December, like right before Christmas. That was a lot of fun. And then I went to Baylor. After
Wait a
that.
second. You've been on staff. Art Briles goes down.
Oh,
Right?
I can go all the way back.
And now you've been on.
I can go all the way back.
Take us back,
now
Brad.
the Harson Auburn.
I'll go all the way back.
Oh my god!
Are you
So-
the deacon of death? Over there? Like, are you like,
Were you at Colorado with Hawkins?
I was.
Okay.
no,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Wow. Bing,
So
bing, bing.
what happened was when I got done playing in the national, I played at Colorado,
Okay.
Yeah.
right? And
Under who was your coach at?
Rick Neuheisel.
Oh.
And then we go to play Oregon in the Aloha Bowl. And Washington remember the Aloha Bowl used to do back-to-back games? Do you guys remember that? Like it was an early one and another one. Well, Washington was playing. That's when Coach Neuheisel interviewed in Hawaii for the
To
Washington
go
job.
play Washington. Oh yeah.
So when he took off to
Clean.
Washington, I'm a huge Rick Neuheisel fan.
Okay, so
so
he's a
he
good
got
guy.
me to Colorado.
Okay.
I
Okay.
will never. Yeah. So then Gary Barnett came in,
Uh-oh.
and my O-line coach was Tom Cable.
Oh.
Get out.
Of
okay.
Idaho
Hey,
fame.
is
Awesome.
Cable here?
No.
Is he here?
No.
No, he is.
Cable
He
Cable
lives in
punched
Las
somebody in
Vegas,
the
and then
face,
he
didn't
has does a lot of fishing in Durango, Colorado.
Because there's a Tom Cable that plays at Banbury Golf Course, and I'm always like, is that the Tom Cable?
That is not the Tom Cable.
Well,
So
good to
yeah,
know.
no, I went there and then went and played in the NFL, did all that whole thing. And then when I came back, I volunteered for Dan Hawkins, trying to get my foot in the door. And then
and it was Dan Hawk just because it was more the Colorado tie than the Dan.
Yeah, it wasn't Coach
just,
Hawk.
yeah.
No, it wasn't Hawk. It was just because I had to finish my degree because I wanted to coach football, and I didn't finish my degree through that process. And so I had to come back, finish my degree, and that's when I just sat in front of his – it was me and my wife, and when I said, hey, I knew some people in the building, so I knew I could get in the building. And so I went to his secretary, who had been the secretary for all the head coaches. You don't bring in your own secretary. Well, Prime did, but
Louis.
You bring in Louis.
Yeah. So, and she's like, Brad, he's not here. So I'm just going to sit here. And so I did. Me and my wife sat in the chair, and he comes walking in and says, oh, there's a former player here. And he's probably like, oh my God. Yeah. So to Hawk's credit, he goes, come on in. You know, the energy's there. And he goes, and I introduced myself, and he goes, well, I kind of know who you are. Your name's in the building. And I said, I get it. I was like, I'd like to be a part of your staff. And he goes, Brad, I don't have any full-time. I was like, no. I don't think you understand. I'll free. I'll just come in. Just let me learn the ropes. He goes, well, I can't. There's rules. I go, then put me in recruiting. Just put me somewhere. I have to go to school here anyway. I want to coach. If I can learn this process, it's just going to help me. And so then perfect recruiting, everything's great. And then that's Houston called me back. And they said, hey, we want to sign you. So I went into Hawk, and I said,
what did you play in the NFL? What position did you play?
Guard, tackle, tight end. I play all five.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But starting, I played mostly guard.
Okay.
And then I went to Hawk. I said, Hawk, Houston Texans just called. They want to re-sign me. And is that all right? And he looked at me. He's like, so let me get this straight. You're asking to go back to the NFL when you're a volunteer?
From a free job.
Right? But I gave him my word that I was done. And then I went and played for Houston for Gary Kubiak, where the head coach was Mike Sherman in Green Bay. So he actually traded for me to go to Green Bay from Miami. And so then when he got fired from Green Bay, I was on limbo, and that's when I went back and started schooling again and did all that. He became the O-line coach in Houston. So that's when he re-signed me in Houston. So I played that year. Then I was actually sitting at my nephew's baseball game, and my dad, he goes, hey, let's just go to the right field and talk about what you're going to do in life. Whoa. I'm like, all right. So he asked me, he's like, are you going to continue to play? You're going to go on year 8. You're 30 years old. You just had 2 surgeries. And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, I think it's about time to be done. He's like, you want to coach. So when is that door going to close in age? Everybody's got an age limit. So I was like, and then literally that night, that's when Hawk called and said, we have it was called offensive technical intern. Right now it's quality control. So they just flipped all the names. So that's what I did. And so when I did that, it was kind of a paid deal. And so I got my health insurance, and we got all that done, and I finished that my degree. Nice. And then in that room, it was me, Andy Avalos, Paul Creighton, Ben Steele, and Ashley Ambrose.
Huh. He coached here. He was a corners coach here for.
That sounds
familiar. He was an African American guy. Cornerback.
Played 12
right?
years.
Played in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, a couple Pro Bowls.
Was he the first corner coach for Harsin here?
He came here. He was
with
at
Harsin.
Cal.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been at Cal. He was everywhere.
He was good.
Mississippi Valley.
He was good, right?
He went to Jerry Rice Institution.
Yeah.
So, but if you think about that room, it was really unbelievable. Ben Steele's the tight ends coach for the Arizona Cardinals. I went on my run. We know Andy, obviously. And Paul Crane's for the tight ends coach, special teams coordinator for the Northwestern. So kind of everybody, that was a flourished room. Yeah. And then to go back, to move on, I go to Northern Colorado, there a year with Scott Downing, great guy. And then I think I'm going to get out. They may fire me. I don't know what to do. And so then I took off and went to UC Davis.
UC Davis.
Oh, okay.
UC Davis.
I'm just following along.
Wait, with Hawk? With Hawk?
No, Bob Biggs.
Oh, this is way before Hawk.
Way before Hawk.
Bob Biggs.
Bob Biggs, the head coach at UC Davis, played quarterback at UC Davis, one of the smarter individuals I've ever met. And I was there, became the run game coordinator with Tim Plow.
Oh, still there. So he stayed there this whole time.
Tim Keene was the tight ends coach.
Oh, okay.
And so I was there for a year, because Bob Biggs was looking to retire.
Yeah.
And that's when we were going to have our son, and Bob Biggs came in and said, "Hey, Brad, I think you need to look for something." And I'm like, "Are you firing me?" And he goes, "No, but I'm on my way out. And you're raising a family, you're starting." And thank God he did it. And so, I went to New Mexico State.
Ooh, Las Cruces.
So far, your wife's loving this. Your wife's loving
So this is we're on the move again. And so then I went to with Dwayne Walker. 1 year.
Dwayne Walker, New Mexico State. He was the head coach there. Okay.
Well, we have not a great year, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. Well, that's when I went with Brian Harsin, Arkansas State.
Yeah.
And then Dwayne.
Did you know Brian?
No, but I met Kent Riddle. I know everybody because of Hawk. When you go to the convention, it's like everybody goes to the Boise guys, and they all just kind of get together.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of the way it is. It's actually really cultish, kind of. It's funny, but it's awesome.
Okay.
Are you a Boise guy now then? I mean, are you part of I mean, I know you coached here, but like, would you consider yourself?
Yes.
That's your tree. That's
Yeah. I'm Brian Harsin. I'm under Brian Harsin, that whole Dan Hawkins, Brian Harsin, all those guys. But then I go to Arkansas State, and we are very successful. Won the Sun Belt. Horace took the job, and this is, I'm a Brian Harsin guy. And this is why I love Brian Harsin. He was extremely honest. You guys, this coaching profession is so, he said PG-3, screwed up. I was going to say something way different.
All right.
Is you don't get honesty all the time. It's always like, hey, I need to get to the school and get my feet underneath me and this, and you'll never hear from them. That happens.
Wait, from who? From
The
coaches?
head coach.
The head coach. They'll say, hey, we're going to Boise. I'm going to get my feet under me. And
They'll completely
never
ghost you. Yep. And I'm sure it happened. I can only speak for myself. But Hart said, hey, listen, Scott Huff stays, you need to find a job. Scott Huff goes to Washington, you're coming. Scott Huff stayed. So that's why I always respected that. Always.
Okay. That makes it easier on you.
Well, yeah.
You can make a decision.
I know I need to look for a job, but I can also say, hey, listen, in the next 2 weeks, Scott's got to make the decision. Huff's got to make the decision, and I'm going, or I'm going this place.
That was a big coaching move for Boise State. I remember Scott Huff was a big piece.
Yeah, they were excited. People were excited. That, no offense, but
Yeah.
no one knew who you were, right?
No,
and
Scott Huff's
he's
a great O-line coach, great person.
Yep.
He's played here. Could probably get a lot of votes to become mayor in Boise.
Yeah, mayor for sure.
His wife is trained, she was a lawyer and I believe a partner in a law firm here in town. And
oh wow!
So yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's Scott Huff. So, I mean, he played here. It's like the same like Colorado. If I was the O-line coach, I want you to stay, right? So I have no ill will towards that. And it actually worked out great for me because I got to go to Texas State with Dennis Franchione.
Oh, that's right.
And in 2 years, I learned more football because it completely got me out of my comfort zone. So I went from heavy 12, shift motion, play action, these are the runs, to spread motion triple.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it kind of opened my eyes to a different system. And so 2 years there, and then Fran retired. Fran retires. I am at the coaching convention. I just dropped off Rid and Andy Avalos at the airport. And
where's the coaching convention?
It's everywhere. So this coming year is going to be in Carolina. That year we're talking about, it was in San Antonio.
Okay.
Dude, we're media members. I wonder if we'll get invited to the convention.
Well,
you don't want to go.
We can hang out with the Boise State guys, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You go and you hear people speak. If you want to do that, it's usually you're just going to drink beers and try to meet as many people as you can, just in case you get shit canned one day.
Yeah.
And so I went that, and I got a call from Jeff Levy, and he's like, "Brad, what are you doing?" So I met Jeff during recruiting in Texas.
Yeah.
So I recruited Texas a long time, and so he's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm driving home," and we were still living in San Marcos, Texas, and he goes, "Just keep on coming.
Go to Waco.
Come to Waco. We want to talk to you." And I go, "About what?" He goes, "It's quality control, but you're going to help with the tight ends, to make it legal." And it's like, "All right, let me stop and get a suit." And he goes, "If you show up in a suit, Art Briles will never talk to you." He goes, "We just don't operate that way." And I'm like, "All right." He goes, "What are you wearing?" I said, "Jeans, like a half zip polo and a hat." He goes, wash your hair out with water at a gas station, don't wear a hat, and let's go. So I drove right up to Waco.
So just like brush your teeth with your finger?
Pretty
type
much,
thing? Just
yeah.
Throw some gum in?
Try to like get a Mountain Dew or something. Try to kick the hangover a little bit, and let's go. I mean, that's the way it is.
All right. Yeah.
So I did. I went straight up to Waco, and I sat down, and first thing I did, I walked in. He goes, "Okay, Coach Browse wants to speak to you." I said, "Okay." So he comes in and he goes, "Hey, Brad, sit down." And I said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you, Coach." He goes, "Wait a minute, stop." He goes, "Where are you from?" I said, "I was born and raised in Southern California." And he looked at Jeff Levy and he goes, "You brought a California kid in here?" And I looked at Coach. I said, "Coach, you can try this California kid all you want." And he goes, "You're good. We're done."
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Wow.
it. That's it. It's a whole feel thing with him. And so then I went in and they said, "Go to the whiteboard, draw us up something different that we're not doing."
Really?
And I'm like, "Oh my God."
Oh boy.
Exactly. Like these guys are the most out. They're out there now in the coaching world. They do a bunch of different stuff. And so,
Do you remember what you drew up there?
I did 3x1 counter GT arc the tight end for the read, and and Kendall says, "Okay, I'm good."
That's it.
You got any questions? And
I
I'm
mean,
like,
that's what I would have drawn up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just didn't.
it's
Yeah.
smart.
You pull up a Madden play and you just go with it.
And you go with it, right? And so it was something that we wanted to get done, but in the past, right, you can only run it versus certain fronts. So he's like, "All right, we're good." And I'm like, this has now been 45 minutes. And I'm like, I get in the car. Levy hands me $10 for parking. He goes, "Thanks, man. I'll call you tomorrow." And my wife goes, "Well, how'd it go?" I go, "I have no idea.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
took 45 minutes."
Yeah.
And I got a call, and he's like, "Hey, we want to hire you. Here's the stipulations of the contract." And I go, "Okay. When you want me there?" He goes, "Tomorrow." So I packed. But we were lucky enough now. It's not very far. And so
You didn't have to buy a suit, so that's good.
Yeah,
right?
save some money there.
awesome. And then I get there, and we have a recruiting weekend. And this is the one thing I think this is very interesting about the way everybody views things different in college recruiting. And this is very interesting. So I came up in slacks and, the Baylor polo or whatever it is. And I'm looking around, and Phil Bennett is in sweatpants. Coach Briles is in sweatpants. Levy's in shorts and a T-shirt with a hat on. And this is a big recruiting weekend. You're looking at probably 9 of the top 30 players in the country are sitting in this visit. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, I'll just keep my mouth shut. So finally we get through the weekend, and then on Sunday I saw Coach Briles, Big Coach. We called him Big Coach because of Kendall. And I go, "Can I ask you a question?"
Was his son the offensive coordinator at the time?
Yep. And so he goes, "Yeah, what do you want?" And I go, "Is there no dress code on recruiting weekends?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're overdressed." He goes, "I almost made you take your watch off too." And I said, "Okay, Coach, why?" He goes, "You have to understand this. The young men that we're bringing into this program, some of them have money, but a lot of them don't. And so now if you got a bunch of coaches coming in there with slacks and a Rolex watch and stuff like that, it can make people uncomfortable. Where if you come in sweatpants and they're comfortable and you're comfortable, they'll open up 10 times faster." I never even thought about that. And I was like, he's got a point. And that was his whole deal. He goes, "I don't want stuffiness. I want just people to be comfortable at Baylor." And then we went, and then he got fired in, I believe it was May, during spring ball.
How long were you there between getting?
I went through spring ball with him, and then Big Coach got let go.
Not that we need to rehash that, but did he totally get screwed there, or what happened? It was like
He did.
So basically, there was some problems, some sexual harassment issues in the program, and it all came to his feet. They said he covered it up, or what?
Well, there was there was some
trying to remember.
allegations of sexual assault that I absolutely do not condone. I want to make sure I say that.
Yep.
But there were some things that, and remember, there's a Boise connection through all this. Because we had a gentleman or a young player, I don't know who it is, he transferred to Boise State.
No, from Boise State to
I
there.
remember
No, from Waco
So he
to
got
Boise
let
State.
go. He got let go from Baylor, I thought.
He did.
And then he transferred to Boise
Oh, is
State.
that what it was?
I do remember
They
that.
removed him from the
I know
team.
who he is.
Yeah,
his name? I don't know him personally, but I remember.
Yeah.
I remember him.
And so there was some allegations and then investigations. That was going on when I got there. And so when
Did that cause you any pause?
I didn't know because Coach Briles did not it was not in my, I don't want to say this. I wasn't involved in that, and so there was no reason for me to be involved in it. So they said, hey, we have to talk about some things. Brad, you're excused.
Oh.
And especially when it came to the AD and just about that, he's like, we don't need to know about it.
That blew up fast from an outside
Well, he got
perspective.
blackballed like from the sport, man.
Almost his son, too. His son was like untouchable for a bit.
Well, the whole staff was. So when we all got let go, when we beat Boise State in the Arizona Bowl.
That game sucked,
Which was
dude.
bad.
That game
Really
was bad.
Yeah.
I freaking hated that game. Oh.
And I could have told you that game wasn't going to go very well.
Why? Like, because they had just lost
For
their
us or
coach.
for them?
For Boise.
Really? You just, the guys, like,
I thought it was the other way
on
around.
the surface, it looked like Baylor was 6-6 or something, and like nothing to play for, whatever.
I'm sorry. You got to realize this, though. We were 6-0, the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'll never forget, we're sitting in at the University of Texas, and that was a heated deal because there's some things connected with that through Texas. Things were said, and the school put something out about
Baylor
coach. Yeah, and I'm like, and then the players were like,
Oh, boy.
this isn't good. And I'm like, whew. So then we did some things, and we turned the ball over 3 times in the red zone. Texas beat us, and then we lost 6 straight.
Yeah.
We lost our quarterback. Jared Stidham had transferred before the season, and so we had to play Zach Smith as a true, and he had a stress fracture in his ankle. That's why it was not good. But we had an individual by the name of K.D. Cannon who ran a 10-200 in high school.
Wow.
There was not a wide receiver, pardon me, there wasn't a wide receiver in that room that ran less than a 10-400.
So they just wanted speed there.
You couldn't recruit. If you ran over a 10-4, they wouldn't even review your film.
What about a 6-second 40, Brandon?
Talk to me about that. Did you see I ran a 40? Here's the problem, okay? We're just going to
He
go
didn't
over this
see it.
30
Let me
seconds. I ran it. I ran faster than 6. There was a couple
There's
comments.
a 5.97.
There was a 5.97. There were a few comments of guys that taped me under 5 seconds.
Under 5 seconds?
Under 5 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
We're talking.
I'm just saying. Look,
What's he talking about?
go to the tape. No, we don't have. Go to the tape.
They taped you
Go to
on their
no,
computer?
They said read the comments, okay? Drop them in the comment. I'm just saying. Look, myself and Rich Eisen run the same speed in a suit.
I believe that. But he doesn't run under
If they
5
ran
seconds.
what was your best 40 ever?
4.9.
4.9?
Yeah.
Wow.
At 3:10.
What can you do now? What could you do now? Put
I
it
can
on.
beat you.
Okay, Brad. Look, I'm not saying you don't have a great shot at it, which you do, but I've been training
This is
a
happening.
little bit
This
on
is going
a treadmill. Go to Discovery Park. You and your son, Walt, who looks like a very fit kid. Okay, get it on tape.
down. No, we got to go head to head same time. We're not doing video versus video.
We have to stretch.
Oh, dude, we're both pulling a hammy on the way in.
We'll have to get a trainer.
Okay, all right. You know who I need to get? Shane Williams Rhodes. He does his training.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Change it. Oh, man.
So, yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it
So then
wasn't pretty.
got let go, went there,
Yeah.
got fired, and then none of us could get a job. I couldn't get an interview at San Jose State.
And you had nothing to do with it.
just
You weren't
got
even
I was
there.
I was with Coach Horson when allegations came up. I was with Coach Horson, Arkansas State.
Yeah. So okay. So you.
So
were,
did Harston have to say to you, hey, Brad, we got to talk. Like, what do you know? What happened?
No,
He didn't. There wasn't. one of
no,
those
because
things?
I went from there. I went to Lamar.
Oh, okay.
I had a
Lamar.
3-month stint at Lamar, and I told I bought a house in Lumberton, Texas. It's probably not on there.
It's not on there. Didn't make.
No.
We need to update
we gotta
Wikipedia.
get
Yeah.
Wikipedia
I went
on there.
there. We were there I signed a recruiting class there. I was going to go interview at Maryland because Tucker, who's at Mississippi State now, was at Maryland. And I just didn't have a good feeling on it.
Man, is your wife like, I am tired. I am so tired.
Well, there's a lot of things to that.
Yeah,
There's a lot. But it was always better jobs.
Yeah.
And so
Make more money.
and this is the one thing about, the blatant truth is, and it took me a long time to realize this. And as age, you hope you mature, is as a coach or anything else, you're chasing. You're not chasing that next job, because I never chased it, because I always felt if I was talking to other people, I was doing the kids a disservice.
Yeah.
They're not. Now they're looking to get out, but back then they weren't. And so they just happened to come up. Yeah. And so I'm gone. And so I was chasing, I want to get to this mark. And
head coach?
I thought it would have been cool. It's hard as an O-line guy. You got to be a coordinator and things like that, which is fine. I wanted to coach at the highest level, which is the SEC.
Yeah. Okay.
I've always wanted to do that. Well, you're leaving a lot of dust behind you.
Check, by the way. You
Check.
did. But.
And so I learned that as I was getting here, there's a lot of stuff behind you that you don't have blind. You can't see behind your head, and families get caught up.
Yeah,
and it's hard. And thank God, my wife, when we sat down after Auburn and getting fired, and you have that hard conversation of where am I at? Where is college football going? Why did I get into college football? And then how are you guys? Well, there was a lot of things that weren't good. College football is horrible. I don't agree. I'm not into this thing right now.
At the time where you left Auburn.
Yeah. You're talking about right now, though.
Right now.
Right now.
There's some things that have to be fixed, because my thing was connection, and I figure this. If I can get connection with a young man, a player, that means I can coach him hard, I can love him up, and we're going to have that respect.
Yeah, but that's the era you grew up in. Mm-hmm. You went through the whole that's how you went through your whole thing.
That's how I did it. And now it doesn't, like we were talking before we came on here, I went into a home visit, and I will never say the young man's name.
This is when you were down south.
This is Auburn. And I walked in, I said, hey, it's going to be really cool that your son's going to be the first college graduate. She goes, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just how much you're going to pay him. And that's when I came home. And we were losing. It was not good. And I told my wife, I'm like, this isn't why I got into this. This isn't me.
Can I ask? So when you got that question, did you ever have? I mean,
well, I think I know where you're going. You have to understand, NIL is run by state. So in the state of Alabama, we could never put a deal together. So when they came to me and said, well, how much are you going to pay me? How much can you pay me? I couldn't say, we're going to pay you this.
Were other coaches saying like, oh yeah, we'll get you
the whole
$250,000,
thing.
$500,000?
Absolutely. There's so much lying going on right now. Look at the UNLV. Kid was lied to. It's not, I would never do that, because now
you got $6,000.
Right. But now you're going to start a whole coach-player relationship on a lie?
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Trust me, when I left there, I flipped a kid. And he's at a very, very, very good institution right now. And it was $250,000, a Hellcat, and mom flew away games in a private plane. But I didn't put that together. So Collectives put them
You
together.
didn't know about the deal.
So,
you just said we could get you something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to talk to these people in the collective, which is all legal and the way it is. But you're also going into a position room where I had a very good room at tight ends. They set records at Auburn. Single season reception record broken.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Well,
he's playing for the Raiders.
Like tight ends too.
He's playing for the Raiders right now. They're looking at me like, is it true? I go, is what true? They're like, is that deal true? I go, yeah, probably. I'm like, guys, this is the way it is right now. And if you have a problem with it, there's the door. I don't know what else to tell you. This is the way it is. I said, now, well, I'll try to get you guys more money. You can go to these people. You guys can figure it out.
You're saying existing players are asking you that.
So it's hard on.
Can we talk Auburn? Are you okay talking?
Sure.
Yeah. So as a Boise fan, we are fascinated by it. Like absolutely fascinated about. I followed it as much as anybody, all of us here.
Sure.
That whole thing where it's like Harsin, homegrown guy.
Sure.
Going down to the SEC to compete at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. And we understood that. No
problem. He
Going
did a great
Auburn.
job. Sure. And to be honest, like we talk about it here with, if Jeremiah Dickey was here when Harsin was here, I think Harsin may not have left potentially. Apsey, I'm very unhappy with how it all went down with Apsey. Be that what it is. You guys went down. I mean, what is it like there? Because
compared to here,
coaching at Boise is one thing.
Surface of the moon?
Is that what it is?
Totally different world.
It's a different world. It's a different world.
And Name a few ways.
Yeah.
What ways is it so crazy?
Very small. That's number one. Just overall Auburn.
The city or the university or what?
Everything. There's a couple of streets. You got to live kind of outskirts of Auburn, things like that, which is fine. But when you get there, they know everything about you. And it's everything. They know who your wife is.
Way more than this Wikipedia article.
Way more. They know.
You went down as a tight ends coach, right?
I did.
Okay.
And then second year was the tight ends assistant head coach.
Okay.
When we were let go. But when you go down there, they're very welcoming. It's welcoming. We had to go to all the bars. You had to go to all the dinners. You had to go to all of this. It's very a good old boys network.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good and bad, to be quite honest with you.
Who knows, so Harson's a new coach down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's parading him around or telling him where to go?
The university's got people connected.
Okay.
There's a whole team.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a corporation when you're going in there.
Okay.
I mean, I think at one point, I counted there's 32 people part of the staff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Versus what, 5 or 6 on a normal team?
Yeah, a little bit. Remember, in Auburn, as a position coach in recruiting, you had yourself, who's the main recruiter. You had an assistant that's recruiting, and then they had an assistant. So I had a 3-person team just for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're going in recruiting, you're going in your office, they go in there, they go on your computer. You've got 27 kids. They're already pulled up. The bios are there. The grades are there. Everything's there.
That's nice, right?
And my God, it's unbelievable. And you're just rolling through the film, and she's taking every note. Every note.
You got to scribe.
He said this. He said this. He said this. He said this. That goes. I mean, it is a machine.
Goes to who? The recruiting director?
Darren Usher is our recruiting guy, and then I had to give him a grade. Okay,
Each player.
Each player. Okay, let's just use 1 through 4. Right? Doesn't matter. 4 is good. 2 is wait and see. A 1.5 is senior. A 1, get them out, can never play in the SEC. So you're grading everything. So I have to grade the tight ends, but I also had to do my area.
I think I don't mean to interrupt you. I think it's sad for some of these kids that are like, that's where Boise State probably excels, because they'll take a 1 or a 2 from Auburn and say, we've seen this guy. Like, you were just watching it on film, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll like go to their practices or go to their games, and they could probably find a 1 or 2, a diamond in the rough there, right?
Well, yeah, they've made their heyday then.
Yeah.
It's just, but the problem is, not a problem, is if you're not in the top 5 in recruiting, like in Auburn,
They want you out.
fans are pissed.
Yeah, they're yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing that I think.
Rankings. Yeah.
And the rankings, give me a call, your son goes to an SC and he's a 3-star, you can make one call and make him a 4-star.
Is that how that works?
There's a lot of things that come down like that. That can happen.
Yeah.
That can happen. So that's different. We talked about that. They know all about your kids.
Who's they? The
the
fans?
city.
Everybody.
The city.
Your kids.
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And so that's different. That's a little hard.
Yeah, how does that make you feel? Uncomfortable?
Not when you're there. You're like, this is actually really cool. I mean, it's consuming.
Family type.
It's consuming. It's like everybody knows who you are. It's so there is no. I have a story for you. I went to a bar, and
I love stories that start out going to a bar.
Yeah, we can only go to one bar because I refuse to be seen at a bar with anybody drinking with a student athlete in there that's on the football team. If Suni Lee was having a beer at Auburn, that's none of my business, right? That she's a gymnastics, she's a world champion, that's fine. But I would never be seen at a bar having a beer when I know another football player is in that bar. So they tell you these 6 bars are off limits for coaches.
Because the players go there.
Players go there. So we had one bar, and I couldn't even tell you the name. So we're there, and we're having a couple of beers. It's me and some of the guys on the staff, and 1 turned to 2, 2 turned to 20. It didn't, you know what I mean? We were having fun. And guy comes up to me, and he pulls me aside, and he says, "Hey, Brad." And I go, "I don't know you."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I know you don't, but there's people now taking pictures of you. So now you guys are up here. You're having a hell of a time. That's okay. Some of these people have a problem with their Auburn football coaches drinking this much." And I'm like, strike 1. Here we go.
Yeah.
Now you're different. And so I went there 3 times. Other than that, I went there and had a great time with my wife, things like that. Same thing. It's like, hey,
start drinking at home.
Start drinking at home.
Yeah.
And taking pictures of you. And I mean, come on. And I get it. It's big-time college football, and I'm all a part of it, and I love it, and it was awesome to compete at that level, but I'm a grown man that can drink a beer whenever I want to drink a beer. I'm not sitting here with the starting tight end, and we're drinking 5,000 beers together.
Yeah.
I am separating myself. So you really don't have that outlet besides home and within the other staff.
So there was a coup to get rid of Harsin at a point.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's wild. That must have been really distracting and very difficult to
You know what? It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because I know, people are going to have their view on Coach Harsin. I will never have a bad view of Coach Harsin for what he has done for my family. Never, ever. Yeah. And if you have a bad view, I'll listen to you, but you're not shaken. I am as stone cold on this, and it is what it is. And just don't even bring it up to me then.
But you can't, to see that from the outside, it just felt so out of bounds.
Because it was.
I know. And that's what's so different, in my opinion, of the SEC. It's like, I don't know that could
especially
happen.
if you're on the outside in.
Right.
We're outsiders.
Right.
They don't think you play football past West State of Texas.
Yeah.
There was kind of Brandon's mentioned this several times. If that first year you guys were there and you're up on Alabama late, right? You end up losing that game.
Yeah.
If you would have won that game, do you think things are different?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Another year or two.
If you really think about that year, that first year, it was really amazing. It's 6-6.
Well,
the first year we lost 4 games. Mississippi State,
Penn State.
That
was the big. I remember because you guys were both ranked, and everybody's like, "Okay, this is kind of a big measuring stick."
We lost by 3.
Yeah.
And
was that at Penn State or was that Auburn?
It was at Penn State. The second one, year 2, was at Auburn. Yeah. So we were the whiteout game.
Yeah.
That
tough,
first year,
tough game to win.
Tough game to win, but we ran a play and it didn't work to win. But we thought we're gonna get there. You know what I mean? If you're going into Penn State. So I think we got as high as 14 that year. And they thought, well, boy, they actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Go to Mississippi State at home. At this point, we lost to Georgia. Remember, we were tied or down by 3 by Georgia that year. And that was their national championship year. And I'm like, God, we can be really good here. We lost Bo Nix in year 2.
He transferred.
But remember, we lost Bo Nix during Mississippi State. He injured his leg.
Yeah, and because there was some quarterback controversy who's going to play. You had like a 5-star guy that was okay.
Yep. And so when we lost Bo, that hurt a lot.
Did Bo and Harsin not get along?
They love each other.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So he transferred out because
I think it was a personal decision of instability. There's a lot of talk. Another head coach is going to be let go.
Yeah.
It's another offense.
His family was an Auburn family.
Dad played at Auburn.
Yeah.
Dad's head coach in the state of Alabama. Yeah. But it wasn't, pardon me, it wasn't because Bo Nix didn't like Coach Harsin. If Bo Nix really hated Coach Harsin that bad, he could have went to Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, anybody on our schedule.
Yeah.
He chose to go to the furthest university that he could do.
Yeah.
And that is a Bo decision. And I told Bo when he walked out and he'd already graduated. He was getting married pretty quick. And he's like, Coach, I go, Bo, I love you. I understand what you're doing. I'm not going to talk you out of it. And that's done. They had him, his dad, Coach Hart, they had very good conversations. It wasn't Coach Hart was up in Oregon. They were taking pictures. They talk. They don't hate each other. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
He felt, I think, that it was best for him to separate himself from the Auburn, everything that was going on. Yeah. And that was his decision, and it worked out for him.
Yeah, it did.
When Harsin got hired there,
right.
Was it already a splintered fan base and booster? It felt like there were people that viewed him as an outsider from day one, you guys, the staff, and just he never was able to win them over, or what? I
don't know. I think Coach, looking back at it, he would have a better answer for you on that.
Yeah.
Because an assistant, you don't see everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of as an assistant, you get in there and remember, you land, you're gone recruiting. It's because you're gone. And so, you feel good because they're very welcoming people. You guys are going to do great. There's nothing like Auburn, and It's Auburn. I mean, it's Auburn. And I think looking back now, we were tagged. Some of us were tagged the Boise boys, and that was me, Jeff Pittman, Eric Kiesel was there, Jeff Schmedding, Darren Usher, Brad Larondo, and we were just kind of tagged. Oh, there's the Boise crew, and it just isn't. It just didn't mix, and like anything else, wins and losses. When you're winning, we can coach.
Yeah.
If we're losing, get them out.
Yeah.
But if you really look at just Auburn University, they just kind of a little bit have a history of influx, and go back. Gene Chizik won the national title, was fired 2 years later.
Yeah.
Go back to Coach Tuberville. He retired, but was he getting forced out? I mean, Gus Malzahn did a hell of a job at Auburn.
He did.
Yeah.
Hell of a job at Auburn. He had a couple of down years. Get him out. He's gone.
Yeah.
Now you look at Coach Freeze. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I trust me. I talked to the guys that played for me. I really don't talk. It's not. I don't care what Hugh Freeze is doing.
Yeah.
I don't. It's none of my business. But they want him fired now.
Yeah.
Well, I think I saw a stat that your guys' record was at least equal or maybe a game or two better.
Now
than
it's
his.
better than this,
I think we're equal now because
Yeah.
he just beat Louisiana
Mercer or something.
or
Yeah.
whatever they just played.
Wild,
But
man.
they got the cupcake schedule right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the way. This is a different topic, but the SEC is so hard that if everybody's wondering, well, why do they play Louisiana Monroe right now?
Yeah.
Is because the gauntlet you have to go through.
Yeah.
You need something like that.
Yeah. It's understandable.
So you can rest somebody. And to go back in Tank, I'm
Bigsby or
very happy he's doing well in Jacksonville. He didn't play today,
Yeah.
but I hope he's doing well. If he slides, we win.
Yeah.
If he, and I don't want to put it all. We could have scored more. I don't want to put anything on Tank.
Well, they had that last drive Alabama did.
98 yards. We sacked him 7 times, and he took him 98 yards to beat us, got us in overtime, and they ran a little kind of stick out. Actually, Lebby scored on it when we played Ole Miss. But, you know, there's a lot of things about Auburn that are good, too, that we beat Ole Miss at home. We're the first team to take Auburn into a night game at LSU and beat them since 2009.
That was a big game. Yeah.
So there's some positives. There's some things that we just couldn't get over that it was not going to work. And when they tried to get them out, they'll use anything they could. And that's what was heartbreaking about it, because I also see what it does to families.
Oh, that was brutal.
So we were chatting about that a little bit before we start, but that was BS. What we're talking, right? The rumors, the innuendo.
It was completely fucked.
Right.
Oh, Sorry, I know you guys said PG-13.
Just want to make sure we're,
Yeah, do it later.
Yeah.
There's one thing about Coach Harsin. Not with Kess.
Well,
and his
no,
family.
but that's not unlike. I mean, no coach should have to go through that. I mean,
no,
really,
that's not an Auburn thing. You shouldn't have to.
No coach should go through that. That's so out of bounds. Like from an outside in, it's like that's messed up. You know what I mean? That like them trying to push him out that way. I get the hey, you're not a good coach, or I get this or that, but the whole family thing was.
You could tell me I'm the worst coach in America. I'm okay with that.
That's professional. You know, that's
we talked
like
about it earlier. He tweeted out that I was the worst offensive line coach in the country.
Did
Boise State.
No, did you have that?
We were joking. I did not. I probably did, but we don't know.
I guarantee something happened, which is fine. I don't care.
It would have been snarkier than that.
It would have been disguised in some.
But you have that. But as a fan, in my opinion, you have the right. I mean, you can say I'm horrible or whatever. Don't talk about my wife. Don't talk about my family dynamic. Don't accuse me of doing something that could splinter relationships. That's the only thing we have at Auburn is to go home to our families because that's the only thing we got, and that was it.
Yeah.
It got to be a pretty lonely feeling.
Oh, I bet.
Do you remember like when it started to shift where you're like, hey, we might be, headed out or they might fire us and what was that feeling like? Was it a sudden thing or a gradual thing where, I mean, obviously. No,
it wasn't a subtle thing. It was very simple. It was February. Yeah, it was February. I was back home.
Where's home?
We were back here in Boise. I was
okay.
seeing Coach Riddle, and because we built a house out here before we took off to Auburn. Never lived in it, which was really cool.
So it was under construction the whole time while you were.
No, actually, it finished construction. My wife and son moved into it for 5 days, and then we were gone.
Yeah.
So whenever we were moving, we always moved around spring break, and my son always wanted his birthday, which is April 1st, at where he's at. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So February, we were done with the signing period. They were really upset that we did not sign anybody in February. We signed everybody in December.
They wanted some big.
They wanted some
promotional
splash,
kind of, yeah.
and we lost a couple of people in December to Alabama. One of them was a very top defensive end that I do not believe has played at Alabama yet. So they were upset about that. But what they didn't realize is we held some because we knew we had to go to the portal. We knew we had to sign some O-linemen. We knew we had to sign a quarterback. And so we held them, right? We weren't going to cut any. We didn't have any numbers. So that made some people upset. So I got a call, and I had to speak to some people at Auburn because they accused Coach Harsin of everything that was going on. And I got on there, and I started laughing. They're like, is this true? And I laughed. I said, this is so stupid that we're even discussing this. And then there were some other allegations about stupid, we heard mistreatment of players because you guys practiced hard. I go, this is even dumber.
Oh, my gosh.
This is the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
If I told you other school schedule that I know for a fact, it is way below 20 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one thing about that team is there was some guys stepped up that are playing in the National NFL right now and said, hey, if you fire him, we're leaving. We're all leaving. We're all gone. So to round out your question, I was sitting in for the Atlanta Hawks, got a call from Coach, and he goes, hey, everything, we're good. I was like, no, we're in trouble.
Uh-oh. You knew in the back of your mind
He just accused the head football coach. Yeah. And I was like, hey, we just got to do well. We just got to win. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I was looking kind of where we're at and things like that. We knew it was going to be a 3-year plan.
Yeah.
But and then once all that stuff, and then now when you're and you're getting recruited in that area is now here comes the negative recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
That's
Georgia and Tennessee, the people you got to compete in recruiting with, they're just telling lies. They're just like, no, you guys are in trouble. I don't know why you're going to visit Auburn. And Darren Usher and Coach, which people said, oh, they didn't recruit. We, in one weekend, we had the highest ranking players Auburn's had in 5 years. But we just couldn't get over the hurdle on them for all the stuff that was going on and the lies and the negative recruiting. And so I knew, okay, we're in a little bit of trouble. And then all of a sudden, we lost big to Penn State at home.
Yeah.
And everybody was there. I mean, Charles Barkley was in the coaching locker room. Bo Jackson came into the coach's locker room. And it was a big game. And we did not play well.
Yeah.
And they beat us bad. And I'm like, okay, we're going to be okay. Georgia blew us out. And then we lost to home. We lost to Arkansas at home. And then we went on the road to Ole Miss. Lost.
That's tough year.
Yeah, that was a while. Oh, God. That was a game. We rushed for like 400 yards and still lost. And then we were going into the bye. And we got through the bye, and I'm like, okay, maybe, things we're going to be okay. Well, we were fired October 31st because they hired their AD because they'd fired the AD.
That was a big turning point, yeah.
The AD, in which now he's now the AD at Pitt. Mm-hmm. He's from Washington, baseball, unbelievable man.
Yeah.
And he's a phenomenal AD.
Yeah.
But when that went down, you got to,
Yeah.
The AD is a big thing. And so they hired the AD from Mississippi State. And we were playing Mississippi State that week in Starksville. They let us go that Monday.
Yeah.
Because the AD had been
Sweeping
hired.
changes, right?
Sweeping changes. Yeah. And then I got fired with Coach. So it went down was me. I went down. Eric Keesaw went down. Jeff Pittman went down. Hurst went down. I believe Brian LaRonda went down too. And the only person that stayed, I believe, was a part of that Boise crew was Jeff Schmedding because he was calling the defense.
Oh, so is he the interim or?
No, they made Cadillac Williams.
Oh, really?
The interim.
Okay.
And they got beat by Mississippi State late, and then they got beat by Texas A&M, and they got throttled by Alabama.
Is it? Do you ever get on Twitter? Do you follow Harson's Monday morning champion?
Yeah, tribute to the champions.
I see him. I don't know if I think I follow him. He doesn't do a whole lot of it. It's awesome.
It's hilarious.
And a lot of people now some people are
so
yeah.
funny, dude.
Some people are read into it a little bit, like Auburn's taking it as a direct shot.
They do, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, and the Alabama fans are loving it. Like, I never thought Alabama people would like Brian Harsin, but they love Brian Harsin. I don't think it's
the people that still
you get
trash.
so many Auburn fans are like, thanks for ruining my life,
They
coach.
hate him so much. It's crazy.
So let's talk about this, because you want to talk about Auburn. I mean, they're not paying you anymore. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
What did you want us to do? We went into Auburn when COVID was just getting done.
Oh, yeah.
So they didn't have recruiting classes. These kids, we were signing kids that never stepped on campus. We only got really one shot at a class. That's it.
Yeah.
We signed the first offensive lineman, high school offensive lineman at Auburn in 7 years. They went all transfers.
Oh, really?
For 6 years, they didn't bring in
I don't believe so. Maybe
so
4 or 5.
You're not building a roster that way. You don't transfers every year. Yeah.
So we had to do that. And then we had to really repair some guy, Tank Bigsby. We had to keep him on the roster.
Yeah.
You had to get some kids. Derek Hall. We had to keep. Derek Hall is still one of the better. Him, Bo Nix, and John Samuel Shanker, tight end. Some of the 3 of the best leaders that I've been around. Vocal, call people out. They were great. They bought into what we were bringing. But we didn't get a chance.
Yeah.
You couldn't build it, and we didn't recruit. When was the opportunity to recruit? They grilled Brian Harsin because he wanted to see his kid play high school football at Auburn High School, and he wasn't going to the high school games. Well, they didn't go on the road in high school games. We were at almost every major high school game. It may not have been coach, but he was still – you couldn't talk to the kids anyway because NCAA rule. Yeah. But we were there. We just didn't bring in a helicopter. We didn't do that stuff. And so we never got a shake to recruit anything. But we were cooking. Things were going. We had a new facility going in. Everything was going. The donations that Coach had going into the NIL collective were astronomical. It was cooking. And then they're like,
you can't do anything if you're there less than 3 years. I mean, you just can't. You just can't do it.
No, not when you're going into it. And it was a pretty decimated roster.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice introduction.
And now you're back
intro.
living in Boise.
And now,
back living in Boise. Kind of made it our goal to come back here and made a decision. I want to see where this is going.
What is this?
Football. Yeah. And then had the opportunity I did coach football last year. The Fighting East Hornets, junior high school.
Yeah.
Nice.
How'd it go?
Pretty good. Lost in the first round.
Okay.
But my son was his first year playing tackle football, and it's an opportunity that I could never get back.
Yeah.
And I knew I made that right decision is when we were at a game, and, they wrote me into this one. Nobody told me this one, that we had to coach the lightweight and the heavyweight game.
Nice.
I thought I was just coming in, coach the lightweights, have some fun. No, you got to stay. We have another game. Like, okay, here we go. So we were at a heavyweight game because the lightweights played before. It goes that way. So Walker always stays, and he just stands next to me, and he's looking up, and I'm like, what's up? And he goes, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I missed, and now you're trying to make up for it, and that's an opportunity to do it. Work for a phenomenal company called Game One. So it's a sports apparel company to high schools, junior high schools, and companies like polos or pads or helmets. But I still, like, tomorrow I'll go to 7 high schools. Talk to ADs and coaches and try to help kids get gear that
Is it like uniforms and stuff
name
like
it.
that?
I can build them a stadium. You can put scoreboards, stands, turf, weight room, you name it.
Okay.
And so it's fun. It's like you got to thank you because the one thing about that is a lot of these kids aren't going to go play college football.
No.
Yeah.
Right. And so that uniform or that polo or that warm up means something to them. And so it's cool.
So shout out to Game One. Check them out on game1.com.
Follow me on Twitter. Yeah.
There you go. Also, we need to shout out. BJ was like, you got to give Bronco Nation some love.
Yeah.
So Bedell's on Bronco Nation
I
after
do.
the games.
Yep.
And doing some
Pre-game,
analysis.
post-game. Yeah.
And then what day of the week? Is it Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
We have Wednesdays at 9. I do
like
kind of a
break it
show
down?
for the game. Yeah, what I saw. And then I do pre-game, and then I do post-game. My my post game language has helped.
Dude, that's been awesome, man. In fact, one of the more the highlights of we should get in the game at some point, but the highlight to one of the post games was Bree. That one year,
last year,
University of Colorado Boulder.
So I was heavily involved in that chat.
Yeah, Matt was trying to get Bree to come back.
That fire of getting Bree, and it was one of the better post game shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, check out the post game; those are fun.
Bree became a little much at the end. Like,
a little bit.
Let's drop it. But it was funny for a while.
And it's funny because when I came back here, I wasn't involved. And BJ asked me, I'm like, I'm not. Start of the year, I was like, no, man, I ain't doing it.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And so Rid finally says, stop. Just do one. And I did one, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And shout out for BJ. And he does a great job. Yeah, and I have a lot of fun with it. And, he had to, it's and rightfully so. And he brought up a good point. I mean, you drop a couple F-bombs, well, kids watching. I mean,
some of the comments were like, my mom's getting scared about Brad. It's like getting scared. It's like, so we actually tried to put a reel together of a couple of the mishaps, and it was hilarious. But
yeah,
anyway,
it's so clean that, and he's right, and so it's
well, going from a football locker room to a public, I don't know. Just broadcast, the language is a little different, I'm sure.
Well, it's different, yeah. But you get some passion for these guys. Yeah. And sometimes that'll take over, and if that takes over, my language can go
Slips
the wrong
in.
way. Yeah, especially, it depends if you've had a couple Coors Lights.
Yeah. When you're at the games. So, speaking of that, you watched the game yesterday, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you don't mind,
let's
jump
do
into it.
Yeah.
So
now that we're an hour into the show,
that's a dynamic warm up. Is what those are called, right?
Ready.
That's a good warm up.
It's like halftime.
So we usually try to talk about, I don't know, our reaction to the game of everything. What was your initial reaction going into San Jose? I mean, a lot of people called it a trap game in some aspects. What were your thoughts on your basic reaction? We can kind of all get.
And we know you can't give it all away. You've got to save some for Wednesday.
That's true. Yeah.
When's this post?
Tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I can say the same thing. Yeah. They needed a fast start, and they were real slow and sloppy.
Yeah.
It was just a sloppy start. I mean, Spencer said the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not, in my opinion, any of these games, and we can say that one's a trap game. Well, Wyoming's a trap game. Everything's a trap game right now when you are, this is it. BYU lost. So now you are looking to be the highest ranked conference champion, and that goes to a bye. So
style points matter now.
And I've said that.
Yeah.
And I think they needed to start fast. It didn't. Sloppy. They did everything on defense, right? If you think about it, they played cover zero, brought everybody, okay? And then they were killing them on the slants. And then that wide receiver had a hell of a game. He's a very good football player. Threw him a fade for a touchdown. So I think that was a little bit of an issue.
It seemed to me that the playbook to beat Boise State right now is throw it quick, get rid of the ball quick.
Yeah, because you're leading the country in sacks.
Right. And so you take the sacks away from us, and now if you throw it quick and then throw it deep and try the 50-50, you're going to have – and if San Jose State would have stayed with that, could have gotten dangerous.
I think the downfall of San Jose State was possibly one of the worst.
Going for it on fourth down?
That one?
Run a reverse
To the big
pass.
fella?
That one. Hey, you got to
ineligible
love that.
receiver.
Well,
Come on, that would have been you.
Well, it was legal because it was a forward pass, and they called penalty.
Yeah.
So wait, so he was on the line. Was he on the line?
Wait, what are we talking about? The first one going in fourth down
the
early?
fourth
When they
down.
didn't score.
Yeah,
coming
okay.
off a timeout.
Yes.
I do believe, because if I remember this right, and I don't know if it's the right offensive lineman, the helmet came off. So you have to be out of play.
Oh, wait.
So that was the call?
That
So they
I don't
called
know
the
if that was
timeout.
the offensive lineman.
that's
That's
why
they
they
called
called
timeout.
Okay.
And then they had to get, I believe it was him. It was either the left tackle or the right tackle. Well, the throw went to the left tackle. And yes, you're on the line. You kick back, kick back, let everybody leak, step up, but it's got to go behind the line of scrimmage because he's ineligible. If you throw it behind, he's eligible.
Yeah.
We talked about the Alabama game. We ran it with a tight end because we didn't want to risk that. We had that with Ezra Cleveland forever.
Yeah.
Actually, we ran it versus Utah State. Didn't go anywhere.
You don't like that play.
I think it's a great play, but not on fourth down. Not a 4. Take the point.
Take the point. It was like
If
you
you
go
have
3
17-0.
scores, man.
Now the other thing is, and I mean, I'm nowhere near to second guess it, but I would have taken the points on 4th and 7, not run a fake field goal.
Yeah, that's on us. Yeah. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Some
his
interesting-
decision, and I'm not second. Well, you can say that, but in that type of game, when you have that start, I think you got to take all the points you can get because you're not. It's not going great right now. I mean, you're looking at you're staring at 21-0 in the face.
That changes. That was the game right there. From
Was it?
21-0 to 14-7.
But the
in
other
a couple
one was
minutes.
that bad reverse pass where they dropped the ball.
They overthought it.
Come
They
on.
overthought it. They were like, "Oh, we got to beat Boise State. We're going to have to do something special."
But
they overthought both of those.
It was really the tale of 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, give Spencer and that staff unbelievably credit for going in at halftime and making the adjustments, especially on defense.
Yeah. Not just that. I mean, Spencer, from the TV, he was the guy bringing the energy.
Yeah.
And if energy of any game, energy was needed on that game. And the last few years, that doesn't happen here at Boise State. We lose that game 10 out of 10 times because there's no energy.
Showed him on the broadcast. I don't know if he always does this, but going into half, he's yelling at everybody, "Let's run!"
Yeah,
right. He's getting everybody going.
Yeah.
It's not let's pout and walk to the locker rooms because you look over and that's
that
what San
was-
Jose State was doing. They were walking, and he's like, "No, we're going."
That was one thing
At
I always
14-14, so they're deflated.
yeah.
So give him credit. He's going in there getting everybody juice, saying, and you'd have to ask him this, but to have the wherewithal to look at San Jose State looked deflated.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe this is tied. We were up 14-0, and he just starts yelling, "Let's go, run!"
Yeah.
But remember, when we took a Boise State team, I think it was 18. That was a shootout at San Jose State. It was like 45-38.
Yeah.
That's a stadium. That is
Is it weird?
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's empty.
Well, that building, like on the
half
behind the players, that has like that berm of grass.
It's like
That wasn't always there, though.
Yeah,
That's
like
a
a
newer
business
thing.
retail
No.
place.
That's
It's their
new.
football facility.
strip
It's a strip
mall.
mall. It
doesn't
doesn't
look
turns
good,
around.
though.
It's horrible. You hear conversations in the crowd. You just gotta bring your own energy.
I'm so glad we don't have to play there anymore.
But it's
Never
also,
again, right?
But it's
Hopefully.
a matchup issue. I mean, if you really think of it,
Yeah.
pass defense to their what
Right.
are their strengths.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't have that anymore the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But to their credit, Shenander did a great job at halftime, because they came out of that and then they were starting to show the same looks, and then they're
Back
bailing.
out.
They're
Yeah.
changing coverages out of it.
Shenander's done a really good job playing to the strengths, and it is, and we were texting during the game, it could come back to bite us at any moment, not being able to play the deep ball as poorly as we're playing it, not getting more 50-50s from it, and now that Tubner's out for how long? Who knows? It's just even more of a concern. I mean, that's what's kind of nice about these wins is that there's always hey, you got to work on that. Like a clear, you have to work on. And our pass defense ranked wise is 110.
Before that game, we were 110. So who knows
It
what
may
we are
be
now?
more now, but I mean, what's nice is you're winning, but you're also like, hey, you got to fix this. You know what I mean? That's
last night they covered. They blew them out.
right.
21.
Yeah. Oh, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it just seems like that's still an issue.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Yeah.
But
We gave up over
sometimes-
400 yards passing. So,
Is that what it was?
yeah, it was 438, 440. We gave up a lot of yards passing. It just, for me, and who am I to say, but it just seems like the ball last year we were trailing
was worse.
behind guys and not even in position. This year, last night, I felt like our guys were in position all night long.
Yeah.
And just not. I don't know if
Able to make a play on
those
it?
two receivers were just
didn't-
that much better,
did-
but
didn't
just
play the
not
ball in
playing
air
the
very
ball.
well and ball skills. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd like to say that you're going to fix it.
Yeah. They threw for 446 yards.
It's a
Not good.
lot. But I mean, but it's the same story with this team. It's like they just make enough plays to win it.
What?
Right? To stop
42-21.
them. And they
Ends
only
up being
scored
the ball.
7 points after that.
Yeah. It's 42 to, or what was the run we went on?
42-7.
42-7.
42-7.
That's wild.
That's amazing.
And some turnovers in the second half.
Yeah.
At the pick. Right? Was that the first half or the second half?
Well, that was like the quarterback that didn't slide. It kind of got jostled out of his hand, and
That
Virgin
was in the
Morgan.
second half.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the second half. Yeah.
And,
I don't know. I mean,
some things didn't go. You were like the returner. He hits his elbow on his own player. The ball popped.
the ball pops out.
That's just
timely.
bad luck. right?
Yeah.
But in offensively, it's, you know, Madsen stepped up when he had to.
Yeah, Mark, can you talk about Mark or Mad Dog?
He's looked great.
73%?
Yeah, that's what we yeah, it's kind of where he's been this year. It's a little bit of a roller
I think
coaster with
anything
Madsen,
was
it feels like.
60 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60
Well, he was
is the mark.
73, so
22 for 30, 286 yards, 1 TD. No interceptions.
he looked great. That's winning
I still
play.
am surprised we don't have more of a deep threat. I really was looking forward to this year to think Strawn or Bolt could kind of test the top off the defense on the other side. I'm still surprised. Caples, yeah.
He was coming off for a good night. Then that was blatant targeting that he missed.
Oh, yes. Say it.
So
you know it is.
So we were going back and forth. I see on Twitter a lot too. So they didn't even review it. So maybe I'm confused.
Okay, yeah, say it.
Because my understanding was, so I said, these guys were like, that's blatant targeting.
Yeah.
As you just said. And yeah, they hit heads. Under the rule, though, under the rule, so the way I understand it, please tell me if I'm wrong, is that if you hit someone in the head or neck that's defenseless, it's targeting. Or if you lead with the crown of your head,
correct,
is targeting. Neither of those applied.
Well, I would have disagreed with you when he came down late.
Yeah,
and you
crown.
saw the top of the.
It wasn't the crown of the head, though.
Look at it.
I have looked.
But
it's the 6 inches right here. They say.
Can we play this?
It
Well,
is.
not right now.
It's the drop. In my opinion,
I thought he went
once
to the
dropped
side. Okay,
but it's still. I mean, he led with the head. There was no shoulder involved.
Yeah.
I thought they completely missed it.
Okay. You're probably right. You're the football guy. I'm just saying
motion,
that.
it looks like
why
he's
didn't they
going-
review it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But because
Why
he
did
didn't
they
go straight, he hit it with the side of his head.
Why
It
did
head
they
to head,
review the
but it was the
one
side of his
against-
helmet.
Wait a minute, man.
Here we go.
They reviewed that chicken
Yeah.
crap call.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
With his shoulder.
He didn't even want to hit the guy.
The point to me is if a guy's knocked out, like has a head injury, review the play.
Well, he came back in the game, so let's
I know,
hope he
but
didn't
still,
have a head injury.
but he was like on the sideline, like shaking up.
I know. I
So
can't believe he came
review
back
it
in the game.
immediately. Immediately review that. In my opinion.
I'm not like on the side of the official. I'm just saying like there seems to be a reason that they didn't review it unless they're that bad. And I thought it was because they hit helmet to helmet and it looked egregious. It looked bad. I'm not saying it didn't. I just thought that as the rule is stated, that it has to be this certain area of the helmet like this, and it was more like this.
From the sideline
Well,
view.
watch
Here's a video. He leads with the crown, but the contact is made with the left front.
Well,
Still reviewable.
Still should have been reviewed at a minimum, and it's helmet to helmet.
I thought it was a fumble they reviewed, and they overturned.
How'd they overturn that?
brutal.
How did they overturn that?
Usually, it's those types of bang bangs.
It's too close.
Whatever's on the field,
Exactly.
let the call stand.
Exactly.
That was.
yeah, that was a little.
I mean, I don't know.
And we've talked a lot about the officials
Here we go.
of
Say it.
conferences helping out their top teams. We saw BYU benefit from that a few times. The ACC,
who does the Mount West Conference?
but they hate, and we're leaving, and San Jose State's staying.
Right?
So
And
there's
the
that.
other thing is
Would that
if I'm still correct, and I'll play into your conspiracy theories, if I'm right, doesn't the Mount West Conference officials come from the Big 12?
do they?
Aren't
It's
those
a
married?
consortium or something.
Right,
like that.
yeah.
It's a,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind
It
of
used
a,
to
I
be the
thought we did
Pac-12.
our own. Okay.
No, they don't. I'm almost positive it comes from the Big.
It needs to be
12.
independent.
Oh,
It needs.
So
to be
you're saying that maybe they're helping out a Big 12 team?
There were some pretty iffy calls in that Tennessee Georgia game.
Yeah,
I didn't
there
watch
was.
it.
I saw a reel on that, but it was
That's
from
crazy.
a Tennessee. Well, they had the fumble of the receiver from Georgia that catches it, and then Tennessee guy dislodged it, and they called it an incomplete pass. Anyway,
Did you see Rick Neuheis's comments?
Rick,
No.
here we go. We got a
No.
connection, Rick.
Yeah,
what did he
just
say?
about like the whole thing about how reffing should be its own separate.
needs
Yeah,
to
third
be.
party.
we've said that. Totally,
like-
it shouldn't be
I agree.
employed by the it's this
That's
conflict of
stupid.
interest
That's-
completely.
especially the replay department. It's like the Big Ten has like a headquarters, their own replay. And you're like, wait a minute.
Remember when replay used to be like the home team just had their replay guy? And like
Is that what it
BYU, I
was?
still remember it was like BYU had their like some alum up there doing replay, and he like it was like egregiously bad.
Overturn it.
Nah, you're
so bad.
But doesn't replay come from a separate conference? So
No. The Big Ten does their own
Their
replay.
own
They have a
replay.
headquarters in Chicago
Right,
of
that's
their
that
own
conference,
games.
though.
Yeah.
Yes,
But isn't like last night's replay people can be from the ACC.
I don't know.
They're
Oh,
not.
I don't know.
I don't.
You would like to think so.
Used to be that has to be a whole separate identity.
Speaking
Well.
of, can we talk about the broadcast, the CBS? That was as bad as I've seen.
Last
man.
night?
Yes.
Really?
Well, they kept showing
Why?
stats that were like a quarter old. Did you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
notice
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. Well,
and then like 3 or 4 times they missed. It was I thought it was bad.
They had the first down marker on. They did.
The first down marker
Yeah,
was
that
off
was-
all game long.
Well, because it was like Jeanty ran. I'm like,
basic
oh, he
stuff.
didn't get a first down. And then they showed that was like 2nd and 1. I'm like, he got like 8 yards on that. Like, where did we? Anyway,
Yeah.
they showed a stat where they'd only gotten 2 of 5 20-yard pass completions.
Yes.
And
That
I
was a
like,
stat from
wait
like the
a
first
minute.
quarter.
They've caught a lot
they were
more
bad.
than long.
They were bad. It was like they had one intern trying to do a whole lot
Almost
of
as bad
stuff
as
last
Peacock
night.
earlier, the Oregon game.
Yeah, that
To
was
their
was bad.
credit, though, they showed the stat of how many yards Genty's gotten in a 6, 7, 8, 9-man box.
Yeah,
and
that
that's
was
been
an
going
interesting
around
stat.
Twitter a bunch.
Yeah.
Can we talk special teams?
Sure.
Something's wrong, in my opinion. Like it's just it's frustrating to me to see special teams play.
Why?
I think the kicking game's good. I
Wait,
think
what-
we're
what, field goal
Almost missed
kicking?
one.
field goal kicking. We
missed
missed it. Well, that was a bummer. But Dalmas is about as good as we can.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
and then
yeah, can't-
and I don't know. Did we punt? We may have punted once.
I don't remember punt.
Did we
I don't
Did we
even
punt?
think. I don't think they punted.
They punted one time
One
in the
time?
4th quarter,
Okay.
and then we got it back and went on like a 6-minute drive. I don't think our return game on the kickoffs isn't great.
They had a big return last night. Didn't they?
BSU did.
Well,
no, Riley-
Yeah, they did. Fumbled. They fumbled. That was going to be.
Yeah,
That was a big.
Riley
return.
had a decent return at one point, and he's kind of been up and down. He had a great, but I don't feel like that's been
we each had one punt.
Right.
okay. And our punt return season long has been a struggle, as far as like not just the kickoff coverage on the tackling has been iffy, and then the punt return we've struggled with. Do you see the same thing?
I don't know.
You don't see any problem with?
You're not worried about it.
We had 2 kick returns last night. Riley had a good one for 37 yards. Bates had one for 33 yards.
He fumbled.
He fumbled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
gonna
put
happen.
that on the special team.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that he hit his elbow.
Yeah.
I would say, some of the tough ones. There's like the Nevada game. The returner took one off the face mask.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, the kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're also people are going all the way back to the Oregon game.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
I agree with you, but
That was
they
a
haven't
loss.
given up a huge touchdown return. They had a return versus Nevada, did they not? A kickoff return? Or a
We
punt
had
return?
one against Utah State, that we scored a kickoff return.
Nevada had that one that they returned almost to like the 25.
Yeah.
But that was on the
Yeah, because
penalty.
we had a penalty, and so we kicked it off from.
way back.
Way
and
back.
then they returned it way back.
It
It seems
seems
like there
like
is an
special
issue.
teams have been an issue, but
I think yeah. I mean, I don't know if it hurt Oregon. I mean, I'm not going to
hurt Oregon.
It hurt Oregon, but you've seen some improvement. You haven't. Boise hasn't been killed on it again.
yep.
Essentially,
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Well,
and I don't consider that a special teams with the fumble. He just got to get it more high and tight, not have the ball out or the elbow out.
Bates.
What would you say to those fans that are like, hey, back in the day, we used to block kicks. We used to block punts.
We were a lot more aggressive,
had-
a lot
yeah.
more. Yeah.
Is that not the right players on the team? Is that
Oh, I don't know because I don't know who they have on the team because
Yeah.
I'm a little further off on this
Right.
roster. But I think some people are. I think you're starting to see a lot of college football as you're watching all the games. You haven't seen a lot of block punts.
Yeah.
I think they're more worried about personal fouls and extending drives rather than have the ball at the end of the play.
yeah?
Right.
I mean, could you imagine a game like last night and they went after it and they roughed him and they got another, you got to play that percentage.
Yep.
And I also think the way special teams coordinators are spreading them out even further, that you just can't get the look. And once you think you get the look, you're so susceptible to a fake. You're like, you know what? We're just going to do this a safe way. We've got one of the top offenses in the country. We could score at will. Let's not screw this up.
Yeah.
And I think that's a smart way of doing it.
Yeah.
Now, let's say your offense was horrible. Then you got to take a shot at an extra possession, to flip the field position. I would
So that's
rather
part of
be.
the calculation that they're taking into. You think?
I would. If I had a horrible offense and we couldn't score points, I'm going to go after the punter. And you know what? We get it. And if we get the penalty, we're going to live with it.
Yeah.
But when you can score 40 at will,
Just get the ball.
just get the ball.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Do you think Dirk stays?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have not had that conversation with him. I think he's in just I don't know him great, but just kind of the way I think he's so just focused on this season and what they can do. I think that's when after the end of the season you sit back and go, hey, and they have to have those conversations and see what happens.
I think it's a cool story for Dirk. Coming back in, enjoying it, having Jeanty, having Matt, having a cool offense, just focusing on coaching, which is not common anymore in college football. Just focusing on coaching, doing what you love, really, which is what coaches want so bad.
Sure.
To just do that. I think it's a cool story, and it may be, at the end of the year, well, I guess we'll see who's coming back. You never know what you're going to get in college football anymore.
You don't. But I think he's doing more than coaching. I bet you everything he evaluates quarterbacks, high school quarterbacks.
You think so? Because they're kind of saying that he's not doing any recruiting.
Oh, really?
That's what I thought.
I
know he's not doing anything
I
off
would
campus.
do this. And I also know the people that are committed to him. He loves Boise State.
Yeah.
And him and Spencer have a very good relationship.
Good.
I would be shocked if somebody went and said, hey, Coach, can you please just evaluate this guy? We got some things. We need to get a set of eyes on him. Somebody that was evaluated quarterbacks for 40 years at the highest level, I would be shocked if he's not done some of that. I don't know how much. Like I said, I'm not in the building like that, but if you aren't, you're not very bright.
Yeah.
And he'll do. He wants to leave this place in a phenomenal situation.
I still think he's one of the reasons we're having as much success. Like, I think he's, if not top 5 offensive coordinator, top 3.
He's very smart.
Yeah.
And
we're
he
super lucky.
calls it like it is.
Yeah.
And, it also helps that you have Jeanty. But the other thing is we can fast forward, look at next year. It's not like you're losing the whole running back room. The running back room's in very good hands.
Well, we don't know that, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Hopefully you don't
right?
lose him.
No, you're losing Jeanty.
No, I know.
The football
I'm
league.
saying you just don't know with the portal. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I do think that, I think Jeanty's tired right now. I still think Sire Gaines is a huge loss.
It is.
Losing Sire Gaines was one of the bigger losses.
Yeah, because you got to.
That's it. That's all you got is Jeanty. Crow made a run.
Crow had a great run on third down.
Yeah.
It was great.
Would you? I thought they were like, okay,
Yeah,
we're throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
time.
here we go.
Yeah.
Hand it off to them. They probably play percentages because, it's all analytics now.
Yeah.
And you got all these people. They're like, they throw the ball when he's in the game 80% of the time. And no, we're just going to hand it off to him on third.
Well, they got it to Breezy, I think, twice. They got it on a pass and a run.
Caught one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and I think defensively they're doing a good job on second level defenders, meaning
the linebackers and
the linebackers. If you can look at it, and I know it happened a couple of times last night, is when the O-line's setting those double teams, those linebackers, and I've said this and I'll say it again Wednesdays, they're playing downhill so much. The O-line has to exit and get off second level so fast. They're creating all one-on-ones. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing that, the lanes are real narrow. And so you got to win some one-on-ones and some of the arm tackles, that he was running through, he hasn't ran through.
Yeah.
Once again, I was watching the game last night with some people, and I was like, oh, man, this game's interesting. And then you look up, he's got 32 carries for 187 yards.
Yeah.
And he's not where the 200-yard games he was having 60, 50, 40s. He's not. He's showing the true running back he is right now. He is a durable, fast, explosive player that will get you hard yards.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. It's special to have him. How many more linemen can we lose before Brad Bedell suits up again and
I'm at eligibility.
We could sneak you in.
Yeah. It's not.
Seems like a problem.
Yeah, it's because we lost one last night.
Yep.
I don't know the extent of the injury. I don't know who.
Is that 4?
That's
Mason?
5 that have been
Carry on?
down, but some of these are backups that we're on a third string and I think 2 positions. I think we're on third string in 2 positions right now.
Guard, it's got to be the third because the 78. And forgive me, I don't know his name.
I don't know the names.
We lost.
Well,
they lost him last night. He didn't return.
Right.
You
and
got
the center. The center's on the
They've
third
been
center.
kind of flip-flopping
But
playing.
one of those guys got hurt.
But the one young man practiced this week. BJ reported that he was on the field.
Carry on.
And so he
broke his leg.
Did he really?
At Oregon.
Broke his leg?
That's what I thought. Maybe. I hope that's not
I don't know.
I thought he broke his leg and got a plate.
It's too bad when Mason got injured in that Georgia Southern game. That's too bad. You hate getting injured your first.
That was a
game.
pec or a bicep or something. He's done that soft tissue.
He's a good one.
Yeah, that's too
I
bad.
recruited him. He's a good one.
Yeah.
Man, if we could have kept it. You know, you always lament the injuries at the end of the year. I do have an inside track on some information on Wyoming.
Here we go.
They're not,
very good.
Wait, can
Breaking news.
Can
They
we quote
suck.
Bedell?
I think we can quote Bedell here.
Bedell this is within our own. This is our favorite Bedell saying. They ass is what it is.
They're ass.
He's basically saying they're ass, and that Jeanty will be done by the first quarter. Is what he's
They're
saying.
not very
'Cause they're-
good. And they're not.
But it
Never
sucks
know.
playing in Laramie though.
Oh,
that sucks
doesn't-
in November.
Oh, my
That's the worst. In late November.
Yeah, at a 5 o'clock game.
Yeah.
So the sun will be down.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the
Ooh,
mid
windy.
30s. Windy.
Really nice.
That's an injury game.
That's a vacation game. You tell kids, hey, this is a business trip. Don't go to the beach.
Yeah, stay off.
Don't have too much fun.
Yeah, exactly. Laramie. Ooh.
And historically, a team that's played Boise tough,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have.
but with Coach Bowles.
Yeah, they got a new regime.
They're not.
Well, he was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, okay.
That's who they hired. That's who the head coach is there now. But they're not. They're just not good.
Yeah.
They're not good.
Wyoming's wild.
You get
Wyoming's
to
itchy.
this time this season, though, right? Like, and you're playing conference foes that you kind of know each other a little bit. Like, isn't it kind of any win's a good win at this point, right? I mean, it's just.
Well, and we talked about style points matter. You mentioned that,
Yeah.
which I said I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
Especially with where,
It's Colorado BYU, the Big 12 champion there.
dude, this Fox moron. I don't even know who his name
Cannell?
is on Twitter.
Wait, which one?
Danny Cannell.
Cannell?
Are you talking about?
No, not him.
He's an idiot too.
No,
though.
he it was on Twitter. It was his rankings. He had
Okay.
Colorado at 8.
Which one is
And you're a
that?
Colorado guy. Who have
You're a
they beat?
Colorado guy. That's true. You
Yeah.
and Mike Sanford
Do they have
will probably.
do they have a ranked win? Colorado.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think they do. The whole Big 12 is a complete mirage,
Right.
in my opinion. Complete mirage. You start to dissect it. The only win they have in that conference, out of conference, is BYU over SMU. And I don't know if anyone watched that game. Not that anyone's going to go back and look.
It was sloppy.
It was the sloppiest. SMU, late in the fourth quarter, they're down. They turned it over 3 times
In the
the
fourth
red
quarter?
zone. In the fourth quarter. One of them, it's first and goal or something.
bad.
The guy's going down. No need. Guy's going down, getting tackled. He tries to pitch it back
Oh, my
to his teammate.
Always a good idea.
And
Always a
BYU
good
gets it.
idea.
It was like they kept. Anyways, BYU did win that game. Outside of that, they don't have a win outside of conference against anybody.
Yeah.
Like anybody.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think Notre Dame's very good.
yeah.
I can't get over the NIU loss.
Why are they ranked so
NIU
high?
loss.
Because they're Notre
Notre
Dame, right?
Dame.
It drives me
How
nuts,
else can
man.
they get in?
It drives me
How
nuts.
else can
They need to join a
have
conference, and I'm so sick of that.
Yeah. But to go back,
Yeah,
I mean, just think about it. You lose or you beat a tight game in Nevada,
Yep.
right? They drop them.
Yeah.
You blow out a San Jose State team that is better than what a lot of people think. They're,
Yeah.
6-3.
He's
at
doing
times.
a really good job.
Yeah.
Ken's doing a great job at San Jose State. And then they're going to ding Boise because Washington State just lost.
Yep.
in
That sucks.
Lost New Mexico.
That sucks.
those things because your strength of schedule.
Screw you, Bronco
Stuff.
Mendenhall. Screw
Yeah.
you, dude.
Yeah.
So, anyways, think about this. They drop. Then they go blow out a San Jose State team. They go back to 12.
Yeah.
So they're hovering right there.
Right.
So now I wouldn't be surprised to come Tuesday night, whenever that committee releases
Tuesday.
it, they'll be at 12. They
Do you
will
think
never
BYU
be as high
do you-
as 11.
oh,
I think
We've said that.
and I think
Yeah.
BYU, if they're
11?
11, BYU is 12.
You think we're going to be ahead of BYU?
I think if Boise State's 11, BYU's 12. If Boise's 12, BYU's 11.
Okay, so they're back and
One of
forth.
the two.
I also think BYU's got to go to Arizona State.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I could see BYU losing that game.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're out.
They're out.
They're out of the Big 12 championship. So now this committee's got to be praying Colorado wins. Because imagine Colorado loses in the Big 12 championship.
to Arizona State.
Arizona or did Kansas State win?
No, they lost.
They lost, yeah.
So this
So it's
whole
like
thing,
Iowa
right.
State.
So that committee, if Colorado loses, Boise State has to be ahead of the Big 12 champion.
If we get a bye, the powers that be are going to punish us so hard. They're going to take everything away from us, dude. I'm telling you. They're going to look at that and they're going to say that will never happen again. How can we design the playoff to make sure that never happens again?
Magically, they go to 16 teams.
Yeah.
They go to an addendum.
Yeah.
But the other thing is look at the national media. Okay, let's think about this one. Does the national media want Spencer Danielson in a bye week in national media, or they want Deion Sanders?
Yeah, they want Deion.
I think they
All
want
day.
Deion to play.
I think they want Deion
To talk for a week.
To talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Good point.
true. That's
Yeah.
a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
And all of a sudden,
Yep.
if Colorado is magically over Boise State at the end of this thing, it is a travesty.
Yeah.
And
If
I'm
they
a
lose.
Colorado guy.
Yeah.
I am. I played at Colorado. I love Colorado. But come on, Boise State is their strength of schedule. Colorado hasn't beaten anybody big. But, and the other thing is, and I talked about it in the pregame show or with BJ, is you also have to watch who your matchup is.
Yeah.
That is scary.
With the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think
I don't
about
love the
everything
matchup.
happens right. Let's say everything's good. You don't want to play Oregon again.
No.
And I don't want to play Ohio State in Ohio State Stadium, dude.
Or how
That's
about
what
Georgia?
sucks.
At Georgia.
No,
'Cause
no,
now
no, we
Georgia's
lose
gonna-
all those.
Georgia's
They
back
won't
in.
have a home game though. But yeah, but they're not going to be 8 because we're going to play whoever is like the 5 seed.
Yeah.
I think you're 12 or 4.
The fifth rank.
The 5th,
Yeah.
but which might be the second ranked team.
Yeah.
Could be. I wouldn't mind a Penn State.
I know.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
you match up that.
I would
because
love a Big 12. I would love
Yeah.
a Big 12 matchup,
a
dude.
Colorado,
Yeah.
which could be an
Yeah.
issue. at
Iowa
some
State
things.
or something.
Yeah,
But I
they throw it on
honestly-
us. Colorado would throw it on us.
Travis Hunter versus Jeanty, that'd be a great
Oh,
match.
dude, that'd be
that'd be
sweet.
great.
That's
matchup.
national media. You're going to have 2 Heisman finalists.
Yeah.
It will have been over by then, but yeah.
But they're going to mark it up.
Yeah,
Heisman
yeah.
finalists. And
Yep.
whoever won it. But
No, I don't love the matchups that we have right now. Is like Ohio State is the number 2 team overall going into the 5 seed.
Yeah.
That's just like,
That'd be
that's a recipe for disaster.
I think
that's a tough
you line us
one,
up
dude.
with the Big 12 or an ACC team or Penn State. I like that. I think that's 50-50.
I like the Penn State matchup because
Yeah.
they're built off of the tight end. They're not built off of wide receiver speed.
Yeah.
Right.
Miami, speed.
Yeah.
Georgia, speed. All these other teams are built off of genuine speed at the wideout position.
I just would. I'm saying my prayers. Could you imagine hosting a playoff game at Boise? We won't do it. I get it. Could you imagine how amazing that would be to host a playoff
I
game
want it for
at
the
Boise
community.
Stadium?
Dude,
it would be
it'd be so
incredible,
awesome.
dude.
We were at the last playoff game they hosted.
Huh?
Marshall.
1994.
Marshall, Thundering Herd,
where
baby.
where the field goal post came down?
Yeah.
See, I want to feel it again.
Yeah.
I want it back, dude. I want that feeling, dude. That
I
would
think
have been
it'd be
amazing.
phenomenal.
It'd be
And
incredible.
The other thing I think it's we're not talking about the whole Tulane conversation. Let's just stop that.
Why are
him
people
out.
posting
Get
all of a
him
sudden
out.
they're the best
That
group of
sucks.
5 team? That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. They've played nobody. That's like asking Liberty last
That's
year.
Two
the
losses,
dumbest
dude. They have
thing.
two
And they have 2
losses.
losses.
Yeah.
But you go back, we're not talking about like a Tulane. I mean, it's Boise State football. It's
Yeah.
they're
It's
a brand.
It's a brand.
Yeah.
They're the number 1 brand in this new pack, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're talking about Marshall, because you guys brought it up. Marshall. This is Boise State has a rich tradition in college football. And the other thing I like about Boise, and I said it with BJ, I was like, you can never count them out because they're going to say, put the ball down and we'll play anybody and we will upset you.
Yeah, they will.
But I think if you're going to an SEC team, you're a double-digit underdog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sucks.
They can still beat them. They've
Yeah.
done it. Virginia Tech beat Georgia.
Yeah.
They could do it,
Yeah.
and they got the talent to do it. You're gonna have to be tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get to the playoff and get blown out. But honestly, getting to the playoff, I'd call it a
happy.
really, really, really successful season. You know what I mean? and then
compared
let
to where
the chips
we've been
fall
the
where they may.
last 3
yeah,
years?
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, to get there the first year, I'm not
Anything
going to
can
complain.
happen. Anything can happen.
And anything can happen once you get in.
Even Mark Moss would not complain about it.
Oh,
I haven't.
And then, I honestly think they are in position to have a bye.
They could. Yeah,
that'd be so amazing.
Imagine you're
So
going, you get the
amazing.
bye.
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
That's at a neutral field, though, right? That's not
how
at
they
a
start the
home.
bowl
Then you would
Yeah.
probably be a Fiesta Bowl or something like
See,
that.
I feel a lot
Possibly
better
the
about
Rose.
or
See,
the
right?
Rolls. I think they're a semifinal. This
Oh,
year.
are they?
I
that.
think
Well, anyway,
they're
I just feel a
semifinals
lot
this
better
year.
about neutral game setting than
Sure.
at away
Yes.
game, you know?
100%.
Rose Bowl was at the Nevada game.
Oh, they were there.
They had the representation.
Oh, right.
Okay.
They get their free trips. They get their so stupid. Those bowls.
The other thing
It's such a joke.
The
Like
other
they,
thing is, imagine Boise the home game. Imagine whoever they play.
yeah.
Those players, they're going to have to go on a map and see where Boise
Exactly.
is.
I would love
If
that.
it was an SEC
No,
team
I-
in
no.
freaking December,
And then they go, wait a minute, the stadium only seats 34.
Yeah.
Wait, it can't be that loud.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, bring
See,
it.
my thing is we have to go at the start of the year and play in the humidity every freaking year.
Yeah,
dude.
it's their
I hate
turn.
that. Come to
our
us,
house,
dude.
yeah.
Where it's dry and it's cold. It's freaking miserable this time of year. I hate January in Boise. Let them experience that for once, dude.
So you said you played at all the big time places in SEC. Obviously, we're a lot smaller. We're a third of the size. How does it compare? Boise State to
The stadium.
any of these places down there.
It's loud here. Don't get me wrong. It's loud for where you're playing.
Yeah.
That Iron Bowl,
Yeah.
you can't hear yourself for 3 hours.
that would be a cool experience.
Penn State, you can't hear yourself.
That would be awesome.
I mean, 100,000. You can't compare a 37,000.
No.
LSU at night game is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just the amount of beer bottles that are hitting your bus pulling up to the locker room. A&M, unbelievably loud.
Yeah, that's cool. That is an experience that I hope to experience, like the cocktail party at Georgia or even the Ohio State Michigan game would be incredible. I don't know.
Like Ole Miss and very loud.
Oh, really? So they're not all.
No, they're not all. I think Ole Miss only seats like 65.
Sure, Vanderbilt's
70.
loud
This year a little bit.
For them.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they're the state of Alabama champion.
that's
Yeah,
true.
they are.
That is true.
They beat
Yeah.
them both.
Can we talk basketball?
Yeah, let's
we
get
don't
into
have a lot of
basketball.
time left.
Yep.
We got to get basketball and 5 questions.
Oh, dude, what do you want to do first?
We'll do basketball.
Okay. We just played Clemson. Okay. We beat them 84-71. Yep. I was there. Loved the game. Loved this team. I think Degenhardt is the Kellen Moore of basketball right now for Boise State. I think it's incredible what he's doing. I love it. We had a few interesting things. We lost to Clemson last year. We got out-rebounded like 20-44 last year. Keep your yawning. I don't care.
It's been a long episode.
It's been a long episode. I think this team, if it can continue to beat good teams, they have the depth. They played 9 guys and beat a really good Elite 8 Clemson team. So I really liked it. Kudos to Leon and Burns and who's the other?
The guy with
Berto. Berto's coach.
Berto and Lexus, but who's the
guy with the red hair?
Duryea. I think they're doing an incredible thing, and I love that BSU's could go to a playoff this year and could potentially win a game.
That would be a banner year.
That would be like the best sports year of Boise State history would be that. Go to the playoffs in football, win a game in the tournament in basketball.
Yeah.
Like that would be an incredible year.
Yeah.
And they have the team that looks like they can do it.
You know what's interesting is with Leon Rice and been here, what'd you say, 15 years? And his assistants have been here several years. It's just, there's that consistency there that we just have not had in football, right? With assistants in and out. I mean, how many assistants are we going to lose this year? When was the last time Boise State didn't lose an assistant? Like, has that happened in 20 years? That we didn't lose one football assistant.
Oh, we always lose that. But
we lose coordinators.
Yeah.
I mean, left and right.
Almost every year. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's a lot more coaches, right, in football. Yeah. So chances are you're going to lose one, but it's hard when you're losing your coordinator every
More Division I
time.
basketball teams, though.
What was that?
There's more Division I.
360. Yeah, there's a ton.
Their assistants, you got to think those guys
a lot more jobs.
More job opportunities.
I think they're mature guys. Like older in their careers, Duryea and Burns, right? And I just think they're comfortable here. It just seems like they're not just chasing the next big thing. Maybe I don't know.
I was flying home from Scottsdale after Boise State played BYU in a pregame.
Oh yeah,
and Burns was on the plane.
Oh.
And I lined up right next to him, and I was like, yes.
Dude, if you're Burns, you run.
Oh, dude. If Burns should be like, I'll catch the next plane. Because I was like, hey, Burns, I'm just going to talk to you about basketball. You can't go anywhere.
They're announcing
he's like,
they're going to hand out the travel vouchers. He's like, yeah, I'll take one.
He's like, can I upgrade?
I'll go to the next
for
plane.
The voucher. I'll pay you.
Let me have the voucher.
Well, he's like, can I upgrade? I was like, Boise State's not paying you an upgrade. You're sitting right here in the economy thing. And I was just talking to him, and he hated it, like Burns does, I'm sure. But it was just fun to talk to him. But it's been cool. Like, it's cool that he stayed, that and Leon and Duryea have done a great job. I mean, Burns is a really good defensive coach. He's done a really good job there. So
looking up in the best.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I am happy with it.
Whoa, can you hear that, Brad?
Yes.
All right.
That's our 5 questions music.
Nice.
It's time for 5 questions. There's just some random questions for you.
Okay.
Not always a rhyme or reason for the question. Just do your best. Nobody's gotten 5 out of 5.
3 out of 5 is the best.
3 out of 5 is the
I thought
best.
4 out of 5.
Maybe 4 out of 5.
Who?
Yeah.
You should be. You should be. If you need to take a break and like compose yourself, you can do that.
Question number 1.
Okay.
Thanksgiving's coming up. Better Thanksgiving side dish: stuffing or green bean casserole?
Stuffing.
That's correct.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
close.
That's an easy one.
Yeah,
Green bean casserole. Give me a break.
why do I have a
That's a
feeling
warm-up
that was
question.
just a layup and you're about to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
absolutely dig me right in the rib cage?
You should have done. You should have done rolls. Rolls like
That would've
hot
been tough.
rolls.
That would've
I
been
could
tough.
not have chosen on that one.
Also,
One for one.
a little help for you. These questions sometimes have to do with you,
Okay,
your history, where you're from, your name,
sure,
those types of things.
sure.
You ever been to Garden City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great place. Love Garden City. Get a tattoo, title loan, whatever you want. Okay, this
Marcel
Garden
Yates has
City
some business down there.
hotel was previously known as the Sunliner. It's under renovation. It's the one where you can park under
Your room.
Yeah.
It has something to do with your
Something with
history.
you.
What?
The name of the hotel.
It's the Arcadia.
There
It's
it
from
is.
my hometown.
Yes.
He's from Arcadia, California.
Arcadia, California.
Nice. That was a good one, dude.
Thank you. Oh,
That's a really good.
that's a good question.
There you go.
I actually want to stay there. It looks kind of nice.
It seems like the renovation has been going on for
It's
years.
forever.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see the reviews? I'm sorry. The Sunliner reviews were hilarious.
They're so
One of the
good.
reviews said, the carpet's seen more drug deals than like a thing.
So good.
Oh my god.
If you have some time, go read the Google reviews
Yeah.
on Sunline or
Sunliner's
any
gone.
motel in Garden
Ah,
City.
that's too bad. 2 for 2.
Did you
man.
watch the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight?
I did.
Okay,
Fight.
you were let down like everybody else. Jake Paul's record is 11-1. How many knockouts does he have?
7.
7.
Whoa. 3 for 3.
Could we be on a 5
Matt.
for 5?
On a
Wow.
roll.
I couldn't watch it. Buffered the whole time. Kept
I tried
exiting.
a few times.
Yeah. I went easy on these questions. Brad's gonna
Are
feel
you?
good
Oh,
right.
boy, we
See what
could
we got.
set a new precedent.
because this one is like a question non-question. Treat Mark like a 5-year-old and explain to him what zone blocking is.
Ooh. Oh, wait a
good
minute. How
fish.
does he get it wrong? I mean,
Well-
give me a break.
This is good
This
for our
guy-
viewers.
Yeah. Mark, zone.
Yeah.
There's an A gap, a B gap, a C gap, and a D gap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your offensive lineman.
Uh-huh.
Right? Think of it as every single one has their own zone. So that center has got to zone and clear the A.
So he's got A on both sides of him.
to the play side only.
Okay, got it.
Oh.
Okay? If that zone is empty, you climb to the nearest second level defender.
Linebacker.
Linebacker, safety, anything. That guard is going to zone block the B gap. If that B gap has a defender in it, you block them. The tackle zones up with the tight end to the C gap. If it's open, you climb.
Okay.
The tight end takes that defender.
Okay.
Okay, now, if the 3 technique slants in to the center, that becomes his
Am I a
zone.
5-year-old?
This
Come
is
on,
too.
Mark.
This is too
a little too
complex.
complex.
And you guys can't read.
Give it to him.
Are we-
That was pretty good.
4
Give it
for
to
4.
him.
I
Give
mean,
it to
that
him.
got a little bit over my 5-year-old.
3.5.
We need to bring Walter in and be. Walter knows the zone.
Walter.
Hey, we got your
Walker?
son over. Or Walker.
Walker.
Excuse me. Yeah,
Walter?
yeah. Walter.
Walter's Mark's dog.
Yeah, my old dog. You remember that?
Walker. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
Question number 5: capital or not a capital? Minneapolis.
Not.
It's not a capital. Mark, you know the capital?
5 for 5.
No,
St. Paul.
St. Paul.
St. Paul.
Yes.
Wow!
Whoa.
Wow!
First
Wow!
one.
All day.
Yeah.
Boom! That was not even
No
hard.
one has gotten 5 for 5.
You should have started harder on the Thanksgiving.
Dude, the Arcadia
Arcadia was hard.
That was going to trip him up.
Where did you pull that one from? You just knew?
I get my car washed. at
Remember
the
that drug
hand
deal?
wash there?
Yeah, Jay's, whatever. Yeah.
And every time I go home, it's my hometown.
There you go.
No way. That's crazy.
Even spelled the same.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Oh, wow.
That's
5 for 5. It had to happen at some point.
If you would have told me what's that
Sweet.
apartment complex of the other hotel next door that's got like, there's always a cop in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I would have got that one.
I don't know what those are either. That one's good, dude. I was actually driving
Got the
to BSU.
random barbecue outside the door. And anytime you see free phone, free HBO, I just keep on rolling.
Pay by the hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we could go like have a tailgate there. They got the barbecues out there. They got it all. I'm sure it's been
public
You got
use
like
here.
a broken basketball hoop out back. Something.
Some entertainment.
So we're playing Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
We all
we
think-
kill. I hope Jeanty gets 200 yards in the first half, and it's over for
What
him.
are the
I don't
chances-
want
so
him to go
before-
deep into the game.
Before we leave, sounds like betting odds on favorite is now the kid from Travis Hunter.
Right.
It's funny, man, and he's great. No, I'm not going to bash on the guy, but it was interesting how his odds improved the way they did. And like I saw Nathan Carroll posted, his Pro Football Focus defensive grade was like,
Dude, he got
not
beat
good at
on
all.
a couple
68.
deep
It
balls.
wasn't good, but he got that interception, which was a tip backwards
ball,
to him.
dude. Come
Anyways, he's the betting favorite. Jeanty's number 2, I think. What does Jeanty have to do? Could he win it? And does he have to break Barry Sanders' record?
He's gonna.
That's kind of what we.
You got to assume that he's going over 2,000 versus Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's at 1893, am I right?
Yeah.
1893?
Probably.
Ballpark, right?
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to go 250 plus. This is my deal, okay? And I've said this, and I will say it till I'm blue in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter's a very good athlete.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you're the best college football player right now.
Yeah.
I think Colorado may have remotely the same record. I don't think Boise State is where we're at this year if they didn't have Jeanty.
Yeah.
This is the other issue. If you want to look at the history of college football, the last not big time, but two-way player was Woodson at Michigan, and he won it.
Yeah. Well, you had
They
Miles
love that
Jack
two-way.
at UCLA. He played 2 ways and did a decent job with
But not
Harbaugh.
as-
Yeah,
not as
linebacker's
much.
not sexy.
Yeah.
That's
The
true.
corner, wide receiver, that's
I love
sexy.
Charles Woodson, dude. That was
that was
awesome
my
player.
junior year, and we lost in the big house versus him. That's when they won the national title.
Hey, did you have who was the quarterback at Colorado in '96 who played for the Steelers? What was his
Stewart, Cordell Stewart.
name? Yeah, that was
I didn't-
sweet.
I didn't play with him.
He was awesome. Anyway,
But I think squirrel.
Yeah, remember that one guy?
Remember that guy?
Remember that one guy?
Did you
he
like
was,
him?
He was awesome.
remember that one time at band camp.
that's exactly what it was.
But I think it's an uphill battle right now.
Yeah.
But I think Travis Hunter. I think he's the best overall athlete.
Sure.
But the other thing is, and sadly, it's not a running back award anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's quarterback or an athlete.
Yeah.
Best quarterback or the quarterback on the best team usually is what it is.
Usually, but there's just not. And Gabriel's.
Doing
He's
okay.
been kind of he's been good, but not Heisman worthy.
Yeah, I think it's.
So.
Let me see how many. They're going to send 5 finalists.
Are they?
I don't know.
Jeanty's
Well,
going to be
so-
a finalist.
'cause they
though.
usually do
He's
4,
got to go
right?
to New York unless something.
4,
They usually do 4,
It's
right?
3 to. It's been 5.
Is
Has it
Cam
been
Ward
5?
in the
They,
top
they
5
do
now?
the voting. They do the voting, and then they look at the votes and say who's our top. And if there's 5 guys that are real tight,
Because
they'll
when
bring
Kellen
5.
went, there was 4, right?
There was
I
4,
thought,
but
yeah.
there could be just 3. If it was like 3 very big vote getters and no one for a while,
That'll be a cool
they'll just
experience
do
for
3.
Jeanty to go though.
It's great
he
for the program.
deserves it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, totally.
But let's go back, right? Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
He was a Heisman finalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 4th.
Do you know to who? The guy who won it
Andrew
was
Luck.
Newton.
Cam Newton.
Oh,
Newton won
Cam
it.
Newton.
Cam Newton.
Andrew Luck was 2. I didn't even heard of the guy that was 3.
I don't even
I
remember.
don't know.
I don't know either. But
don't
he
remember.
finished 4th.
Yeah.
You're telling me the winningest
15-3.
Right.
football quarterback in the history of the NCAA is your 4th in the Heisman?
Yeah.
You
That
get
sucked.
dinged because it's Boise
G5.
State.
Yep.
And he's,
That's why.
And the other thing is to Jeanty's credit, he's never brought it up.
Yeah.
He's never he cares more about winning. It's like I said it with BJ the pregame show. He's like, well, does he need this to win the Heisman? I go, no, he needs this for Boise State to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think when he did that big interview, it's like, I want to leave a legacy. He's left that. In my opinion, I think he's
Yes.
the best running back to come out of Boise State. And that's a big conversation. That one could take hours.
Yeah.
Jay, there's a lot of people that have a lot of conversations about that. But at the end of the day, I wish he would get it. I just don't think he can.
I just
Yeah.
think
That's kind of where I've been at least.
what that would do to Boise State, it would establish us as like, oh, we could win it. you could win it. You know, if he wins it, it's like it does so much. And the Nissan commercials every
We
year.
want those commercials.
Oh, dude, I want them.
What's bigger
So
for
bad.
Boise State and the growth of the program? Jeanty winning the Heisman or Boise State winning one game in the playoff?
One game in the playoff.
Really?
And I don't even think that's even an argument.
Are you serious?
Really?
Ooh.
Long term for the growth of the
Long-term,
program.
This is why.
Really?
Because the Heisman is an individual award.
Yeah.
Sure.
Winning a playoff game at Boise State is a cultural. It's just solidifies the tradition, the culture, and everything else that Boise State stands for.
I like that answer.
You know what I mean? It's
Take
not
it.
like Jeanty is. It's like, hey, you're gonna walk in by and go, oh, you can win the Heisman here. Okay, cool. I win the Heisman, or you can come in and we're this program is built off of upsets and playoff wins.
I like it.
Recruiting wise, you have a lot more pull off of that because it's just you have an argument. Like if you said that and I was recruiting against you, I was like, he was a one-time freak player,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
right? Where I mean, they're really
Well, and 98% of the guys you're recruiting aren't skill guys. They're going to win the Heisman anyways. They're linemen, they're linebackers, they're whatever, right?
If you can look at kids and say, we get in the playoff and we win playoff games.
Yeah.
That's the tradition we're starting at Boise State.
Yeah.
Brandon, take us on out of here. Here we go. Country vibe. Doing
We
it again.
got
That's going to do it for the show today. Awesome show. Brad
you did
Bedell,
great.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been fun. We've had a great conversation. Game Wyoming Saturday,
Yep.
5.
I think 5 o'clock Saturday.
So we'll be back at it Sunday.
Sunday night.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Peace.
Takes and jokes, we're shooting straight. Boys State pride, we're setting y'all straight. So grab your boots and crank up the sound. We're about to lay it down. Come gather round.